Alright, so for today, we're going to be playing some Railway Empire 2. Railway Empire 2. My understanding of this game, I have seen little tidbits of it, but not a whole lot. My understanding is you run a train company. You start with I don't know what, probably barely anything, and the plan is to expand your... Am I playing this blind? Basically, yes. Like I said, I've seen just like one or two little snippets, but not more than like 10-15 minutes gameplay total. So I don't really know how a lot of this works. But so yeah, my understanding is you run a train company, you go like you set routes between towns. The towns will kind of naturally build up around your train stations or whatever. And you ship goods around. There's competitors and all that. You can do cooperative multiplayer, which I won't be doing. But anyways, as we do with any time I'm playing a new game for the first time, I'm gonna go into options and see what accessibility options we have. We have just stuff that's like tooltips and that information, like game hints. That's all good. How often your competitors make comments with you, so I guess how much they harass you. Oh, here we go. Don't pause when lose focus. That should stop the audio from cutting out. Game speed depending on zoom. So like if I zoom out, it goes faster. Interesting. So not a whole lot with accessibility here. That's fine. You have language selection, that's a good one. You got a bunch of stuff to do all that kind of stuff. We don't have anything like screen shake or blur here, so that's good. I had to turn on the frame rate limit, but that's more of a streamer thing. But nothing particularly super accessibility here. And then audio stuff. They do have subtitles, so not bad. You got subtitles. You got a couple like quality of life kind of things. Nothing big. Well, I guess in this case, I'll actually start with a tutorial. Looks like the volume's probably fine for the game. All right. All right. So it looks like there's 7 tutorials. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, my understanding of the time frame of this game is like turn of the century, so like 19th to the 20th century.
Greetings. I've been expecting you. I'm Lawrence Vanderswag, and I want to help you find your way in the world of railways. I'll tell you everything you need to know to set up a successful transport company.
Okay.
Of course, if you want to make money transporting passengers, mail, and freight, you need to understand where the need for new railway lines is greatest. This is, for example, where goods are produced.
Okay, you said this is where goods are produced, but you just zoomed out with a focus in here?
Have a look at the map. Move the map in all directions and change the zoom level.
What's interesting is I believe I'm currently in the Dvorak keyboard layout. I am. So I'm currently in the Dvorak keyboard layout. So it is actually accepting non-QWERTY keyboard layouts, but it is giving the highlight text as if it was.
And now, turn the camera in all directions. Very well. Now take a closer look at the area around the 2 cities, San Francisco and Sacramento.
Okay.
Cities and rural businesses are crucial to the transportation business. Cities produce factory goods, mail, and travelers. There is a need for transportation to other cities for these goods.
Okay.
Farms in the countryside produce basic goods and raw materials, which are also needed by cities. As long as there are no railroads, all goods must be transported via simple rural roads. But these transports do not cover long distances, are tedious and slow. Therefore, the transport volume is not very high.
All right.
Through the railroad, the old transport routes can be replaced. In addition, cities and farms that were previously too far apart can be connected. Improving goods supply ensures that cities grow. Rural businesses in the countryside also grow because they can sell more goods. Take a closer look at Sacramento. Under the name, you can see the size of the city. Move your focus to the city and you'll see what it currently produces for export to other cities. Sacramento has a steady supply of passengers, mail, and export goods every day, some of which is destined for San Francisco. San Francisco, in turn, has goods for Sacramento. Build a rail link between the two cities to take these shipments. First,
Okay.
construct a railroad station in Sacramento. Open the building construction to select it. Then move it to a valid location within the Sacramento City region. It's best to rotate it so that the tracks face San Francisco.
Okay, so I'm assuming the region means just the circle. Yeah, because for right now it's like you can't put out here. So it seems I'll be immediately imminent domaining this outskirt of town.
By the way, each station can be expanded after construction with up to 2 additional buildings and 7 tracks. However, certain buildings like factories can get in the way of expanding the tracks. Therefore, do not build the station too close to these buildings.
I'm assuming that's what those red marks are there, is that those are permanent structures and these houses can go away easy.
Now build the second station in San Francisco. Move the station to a valid position within the city borders and turn it preferably to the southeast so that you can get well around the bay in the next step.
Oh, it's shift. Okay.
Very good. And now establish a track connection between the two cities. To do this, open the track construction mode and select the first station track at both stations in turn. The stations will then be connected and the entire track will be shown to you as a preview, which you can still modify.
Not currently available.
The preview track follows the shortest path. However, this is not always possible and often not the cheapest solution. Especially tunnels and bridges can be very expensive. In the overview, you can see how the track construction costs are composed.
It actually kind of does. Highlighted the thing in question and just hover and blip it and goes my book. Far more than Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Like, here is where you find, like it says, build a track. All right. It tells you, like, it writes out saying, okay, this is the thing you're going. It's the second icon from the right, or whatever it was. And then it highlights it, and then it's showing, like, the relevant information. I know some people's like, it's holding your hand too much, but it really isn't that bad. So the question is, how do I move you?
To change the course of a proposed track, you can insert track points and then move them. Now set such a track point once by selecting the track. Now optimize the cost of the track with the help of track points. Please note that length, slopes, as well as tight curves will have a negative effect on the travel time of your trains. Then confirm the construction.
Seems like that's gonna be my cheapest. Avoid the mountain. I got a little bridge here that I don't think. There we go. So I eliminated all bridges and tunnels, which has massively reduced the cost of my train. It did slow it down because I got like all these curves and all that, but that's be way cheaper. Like the original train cost would have been just shy of $1 million, versus we got down to 90,000.
Very good. The track has been built and can be used immediately. Now set up a rail line. Now add your stations to the rail line by selecting them one by one. It's enough if the rail line has 2 stations. Now assign the type of locomotive to the train line which all trains should use. At the moment, you have only 1 locomotive to choose from. Now specify how many trains should run on the rail line. To start off, 1 train is enough. The display tells you how many trains are currently active and how many you have requested. For each train, you have to pay the cost of purchasing the locomotive. Now confirm this cost.
Okay. Yeah, Whitehacker says, it looked like the speed indicators on at least 2 ports said max. Yeah, it was, it's basically max in most of it. This area has a slowdown, and I believe this area had a slowdown. But I think the rest was maxed. Okay, the route of your rails and tracks are cleared Both directions, this route offers no alternatives. If there is more than one train on this route, there will be conflicts. Well, I only have one on this route,
Fantastic.
so...
The train is now immediately deployed and will soon be on its way. Now, close the edit mode to see the rail line in action. Zoom in on the train and watch it load. The train is loading goods, passengers, and mail destined for the other city. Let's wait until the train reaches the other city. By the way, you can increase the gameplay speed at any time. Also, the game runs faster when you zoom out.
Okay. Does it mean performance-wise it runs faster? Why does it seem like all of these games, because this is the same thing that happened with American Truck Simulator, seem to be focused exclusively on the Southwest. But it's like that they all end like right around Utah. As far as like the Northeast most it goes. Like it's not a problem, it's just like it's weird that that happens to be a thing. Like I know it's the new frontier and all that. Like I get California being one of the main focuses of it.
The
It's
train
just
has
where they
arrived
stop.
and is being unloaded. The numbers rising above the train are the transport revenue. This is the most important source of revenue for your company. However, each train also generates personnel and maintenance costs. But more on that later. Keep watching for a bit, and this tutorial will end.
Like keep watching, or I'll hit the next button and just move on with it. Oh, sweet. We've moved up to apprentice.
Hello! In this lesson, I want to give you some additional information about track construction. You already know the basics, but I have a few important tips.
The way back, oh, it'll just go back and forth on the same track.
First, consider the cattle farm with the road connection to Sacramento. The road tells us that the farm can deliver goods to the city, in this case, livestock to the meat industry. But transportation by roads is slow and limited. Sacramento could produce more meat if the city received more livestock. Therefore, you are now to establish a railroad connection between the cattle farm and Sacramento. In order for a rural business to use a station, the station must be set up nearby. This is indicated to you by a line from the farm to the station.
All right. Yeah, so I'd want to put it... Let's put it smack dab right between here.
Very good. And now, build the track between the new station and the station in Sacramento. Don't use the first two station tracks in Sacramento, though, because we still need them for the connection to San Francisco. Great! But before you build the track, I want to explain how you can influence the height of a track. To do this, insert a track point on the track and change its height. You will see the controls at the bottom of the screen when you move the focus over the track point. With the height of a track point, you can influence tunnels, bridges, and slopes. Now, optimize the track so that no tunnels or bridges are needed, and the track has a length of less than 250 kilometers or 160 miles. Then, confirm the track construction.
It's like, make sure it's not 160 miles. What are people doing with their track that they're getting to 160 miles for a 52-mile run? Are they, like, making it go down this way out and around? Because that's almost 3 times the track length.
Excellent. Now, set up a rail line between the cattle operation and Sacramento. To do this, create a new rail line between the two stations, select a locomotive and a train, and confirm the cost.
Okay.
That done, the rail line can begin service. But suppose the demand for cattle becomes so great that one train on this line is not enough. Then you would have to add another train. But this is not possible at the moment because there are no parallel tracks. Therefore, you should now build a sidetrack and define directions of travel so that several trains can operate between the cattle farm and Sacramento. Open the track build mode again. Now select the track at the marked position to insert a switch. Now it gets tricky. You have to lay the new track as a parallel track to the existing one. Parallel tracks are much cheaper and offer many advantages. Move your cursor to the marked position and make sure that the parallel track symbol appears on the cursor. Then confirm the position. Very good! Now the track will continue to be built as a parallel track. Now select the last position for your sidetrack near the cattle farm. You will see the complete track with 2 switches as a preview. Then confirm the construction and pay for this track. Now
Okay.
you have to set directions for the 2 parallel tracks. Otherwise, your trains will always choose the shortest way and not use the sidetrack. Now open the direction mode and select both tracks several times so that they receive different directions. Very good! Now your trains can go one way and return the other. Why don't you zoom in close to one of the new turnouts and take a look at the signals that were automatically created by the turnouts and the direction of travel. These signals define directions of travel and tell trains where to stop if the track section in front of them is already occupied or reserved. But at the moment, you don't need a second train on this route, because your rail line can already transport much more livestock than the previous rural road. This allows the meat industry in Sacramento to produce more meat, which also benefits your rail line to San Francisco. Now, let's take a closer look at this rail line. Open the Sacramento City dialog by selecting the Sacramento City borders. You can select anything except special buildings. Important information about the city is shown here. At the top, the citizens of the city are displayed. Below that is how many wagons of goods the citizens and the industries in the city could consume and how well this demand is currently covered.
Okay, so it seems like the population of Sacramento is dropping, which may be because we shoved a train station directly in the middle where houses used to be.
Furthermore, the current train usage is shown for freight, passengers, and mail. Below that, it shows how many passengers and how much mail are currently waiting for transport and how much is added per week. It is important to note here, these express goods do not wait forever. For example, after a few days of waiting, travelers will gradually abandon their journey or look for another way. The same is true for mail. So if you want to transport as many express goods to San Francisco as possible, a train should leave Sacramento every 5 to 10 days. However, your existing rail line only has one train and only reaches Sacramento every 15 to 20 days, so you have to put in another train. However, this route does not offer any alternative options for several trains. Now you have to change that, but this time with a different method than before.
Foundation. Have I played Foundation? It sounds familiar. I may have. I don't think I played it with any significant amount, though. Alright.
Open the track construction mode and build a railway line from track 2 in Sacramento to track 2 in San Francisco. You will see that this track is automatically planned as a parallel track and is therefore very convenient.
That's not what I want. Is there a cancel?
Hello there.
I done goofed. I wanted to make it cheaper. Okay. Hey, Noplo. It's fine. I'll pay for the tiny bridge.
But 2 parallel tracks do not help yet. We still have to connect them. There is a very practical method for this, the station gridiron. With it, you can connect parallel tracks in front of stations. Select the station gridiron and build it in front of the Sacramento and San Francisco stations.
Okay, so this way they could swap tracks.
Excellent. Now set different directions for the 2 parallel tracks so that the trains can avoid each other. Select the track direction mode again,
Okay.
and set different directions for the 2 tracks by selecting the track sections. Excellent! By setting directions, all signals are automatically created here as well. Now your track is ready for more trains. Close the track construction mode and select the rail line from Sacramento to San Francisco. You can do this in several ways. First, you can simply select the train that is traveling between the 2 cities. Do that. You can also simply switch through all your rail lines. Try that too. And there is a third way. Select the track between San Francisco and Sacramento. Then, a list of all the rail lines that use this track will open on the left. You can also select the desired rail line from this list. Now select Edit Rail Line and increase the number of trains to 2. The cost of this is for the locomotive, which has to be bought new. Fortunately, the wagons cost you nothing. Confirm the cost so the second train can be purchased, and then close the mode. Perfect! Take a close look at the station and the station gridiron in Sacramento. The new train can be created immediately, because thanks to the gridiron, both tracks are available to the rail line. The gridiron is more than just a crossover. While the train always chooses the shortest way at a crossover, at the gridiron, free tracks at the station are preferred.
Okay. So yeah, so train can pull in here, drop off the goods, back out there. You get the idea. Okay.
You can place gridirons at all parallel tracks in front of a station if there is enough space available, because the more tracks are to be connected, the longer the structure. Since the station gridiron can only be used by 1 train at a time, I wouldn't recommend you to connect more than 4 parallel tracks. Now let's wait for the train.
But yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's a good tutorial. It's a little verbose, but I don't think that's necessarily bad. I'd rather a tutorial be verbose and you're like, all right, get on with it, than if you are playing a game and it's like, do the thing, and you're going, what on earth is the thing? How do I do the thing? Where do I find the thing? Like, I would rather they show, like, the extra step. Because I also noticed they did the repetition, where they told me again how to edit, which I think is also good, because you have different tiers of the tutorial. And say, like, if I'm going through, like, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, then it's like, yeah, it's repeat, maybe it's a little bit more. So maybe that's not great. But, if I jump in, then I'm like, I'm in the middle of a run. I'm like, man, I don't remember how to do the parallel tracks, so I can like put them across. Like, what's the thing I'm looking for? And then you pull up the tutorial at that point. It means that tutorial can be digested as a separate component and still make sense. Yeah. And hey, Noplo.
And already the new train is on the way. By the way, the train number of the train you are currently looking at is shown above. Switch through the trains on your train line once. This is useful, for example, if you want to see what each train has loaded. And that's the end of this lesson. You now know how to create switches, side tracks, parallel tracks, track directions, and station gridirons. With this, you can already create any complex track system. You'll figure out other objects like crossings as you build tracks yourself.
Cool. In my head, I was like, just because he said create, he went quate. Like, he didn't enunciate his R well.
Welcome to my lesson
And I'm like, man,
on
I feel bad.
locomotive maintenance. First, you need to know that all locomotives have different maintenance intervals and consumption depending on their type. Take a look at the rail line between Sacramento and San Francisco.
But yeah, because you know the person who recorded this, more than likely, they sat down in a room, they had their microphone, they had just like whatever their soundproofing was, and they were just reading through the script and then trying to like make it fit the character and all that. And it can be very hard to do that sometimes. From what I thought I had my overhead light on. It can be really hard to do that sometimes because like getting yourself in the headspace of like, okay, I'm teaching someone how to do trains, like what voice is appropriate. So you're broken down, maintenance required.
Here you can see the current state of the locomotive. The lower the condition is, the more often the train has a breakdown and stops on the way. Locomotives are automatically repaired at stations if they have a maintenance depot. To do this, try choosing the station in Sacramento. Here you can select Construct Extension. Do that and take a look at the options available. Then build a maintenance depot. Very good.
Okay.
Whenever the state bar of a locomotive has dropped to about 60%, it will be serviced. And since the Sacramento station is used by both of your train lines, the maintenance depot also benefits both train lines. Now close the station again and select a train line once more. These 3 bars show the levels of water, sand, and oil. If operating materials are missing, the locomotive will be significantly slower. Water is needed on a daily basis. Sand is needed when going uphill to increase the friction of the wheels. Oil is needed to lubricate moving parts, and the amount required is dependent upon the distance traveled.
Interesting. This makes sense, but I hadn't heard that they put like sand on the tracks to help the trains grip the track. Makes a certain amount of sense, but yeah, hadn't thought of it.
All of the operating materials that a locomotive requires can be obtained at supply towers, which must be built along the tracks. Open the building menu and select the supply tower.
So supply
Now build
tower.
a supply tower near each of the marked positions. Very good. Both rail lines can now reach a supply tower. You can build them at any position along your lines, but they should be far enough away from switches and stations so that a long train can stop at them without creating conflicts.
Ah. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, why wouldn't I just put that right here so everyone has to go past? It's like, got it. So the train just sits on the track and blocks everything while it's doing that. So you want to have a route the trains can get around.
There's one more building that has to do with maintenance, the maintenance post. Select this building type. Unlike the maintenance depot or the supply tower, the maintenance post is not a required building type. It is suitable, however, when many trains come together in a small space because the maintenance post can reduce breakdowns and thus long traffic jams and conflicts considerably. However, this also results in daily upkeep costs. This brings us to the end of this lesson. Feel free to look around some more. Once you have finished, this tutorial will end.
Gotcha. So the idea is I have to have the other ones to keep the trains going, and then this just like wink wink magics things better. Because it looks like it gets built along the track, and I'm assuming the yellow is the area of effect. So it'd be, for this particular case, I'd want to probably put around like around here or over here, since that'd cover the most tracks, since this is our main hub. Kind of wish that they had me actually put it down and be like, no, this is what it does, here's why you care, or like, don't bother with this unless you're talking like 8 or 10 train tracks or whatever. Like, give me a better idea when I would or would not want it.
This lesson is about optimizing rail lines, specifically how to optimize the revenue of a rail line according to its tasks. For this purpose, select a train of the rail line from Sacramento to San Francisco. Since this rail line operates between 2 cities, it transports passengers and mail. These 2 goods are among the express goods because they require fast transportation. Consequently, the faster the transport, the higher the transport revenue. For example, the faster you transport a passenger, the higher the ticket revenue.
Okay.
Now open the balance sheet of the rail line. Here you can see, among other information, what revenues the selected train had on its last full tour. As you can see, revenue for freight transportation also plays a role. While Sacramento produces meat, San Francisco has cloth. Fixed prices are paid for freight transportation, so speed is not a factor here.
Gotcha, so it's gonna teach me I can have like slower trains that haul a ridiculous amount of freight versus faster trains for like mail and passengers.
Now consider the costs. Maintenance and fuel are mainly affected by the length of a tour, but personnel generates daily costs, so speed plays a factor here. Also, a rail line can transport more if it is faster. However, freight is much heavier than express goods, and a locomotive cannot be fast and powerful at the same time. Therefore, there are different locomotives. For example, on this rail line, a mixed-use locomotive is used. This is always good if the load consists of at most half freight goods. If there is a higher percentage of freight, a freight locomotive would be better, because the train will otherwise be very slow even on slight inclines. We now want to test a freight locomotive and one for express goods between the two cities. Open the Research and Development section. Here you will see many technologies that you can unlock over the years. They improve countless aspects of your business. These include higher ticket prices, happier passengers, and even more modern locomotives. Your current locomotive is the Dunham. Select it and let's take a look at its data.
I just want to step back and evaluate that. Apparently, one of the technologies we unlock in the game is raising our ticket price. So it's just, we fundamentally don't understand the idea of increasing our price.
Compare the speed, tractive power, and suitability of the Dunham with the two locomotives to the right of the Dunham, the Derwent and the Firefly. You can see that the fast Firefly has a much lower tractive power than the powerful Derwent. This means that the Firefly is much worse at pulling heavy loads, but much faster at pulling light loads. Now, unlock these two locomotives so you can use them in your rail line. Very good. Now close this dialogue. Now optimize the rail line for express goods. Exchange the locomotive for the Firefly and select Express as the load type. Then, pay the cost for the new locomotives and close this dialogue.
Okay, I just want to point out we had multiple people in chat at the same time. The verbiage slightly changed, but it's, you've unlocked capitalism. Did you know you can hike your prices? Hey, Bentley. Alright, so it wants me to change this to the Dunham and make it freight. Oh, it wants me to actually go with the Firefly on this one and make it express.
Now, watch your rail line and use the fast forward function if you like. It will only pick up express goods and it will reach a much higher speed than before. After a while, it will even show the express symbol. This means your rail line is the fastest of its time and gets even higher ticket revenue. You don't have to offer an express line, of course. Everything works with slower and mixed transports as well. But suppose you have a good reason for this optimization. Then, of course, freight transport is missing. If you can't transport freight on the same tracks, that would slow down the express train. Therefore, you should expand the tracks from Sacramento to San Francisco. To do this, extend the two parallel tracks from Sacramento to San Francisco by 2 more tracks. Then build a station gridiron at each station, connecting each of the 4 tracks. You can just build the new station gridiron on top of the previous one, but be aware that the new gridiron is much longer. Don't forget the directions for the new tracks.
Oh, you just want me to add 2 tracks? Yeah, it's fine. All the parallel tracks. Alright, and the gridiron was here somewhere. Do you have to get rid of the existing one first? Oh, no, that's right. I have to go back here. I have to do that. I don't understand. Alright. I'm trying to get rid of... Let's try editing the rail. Don't delete the rail line. Yeah, so I've got the track there. Yeah, so the problem is I want to put... I don't see how I get rid of the existing gridiron is my problem. Because I want... Oh, wait. Mount. Oh, that'd make it 2 and 2, and we want to cover all 4. Connecting each of the 4 tracks, you can build a new station gridiron on top of the previous one, but be aware that the new gridiron is much longer. And don't forget the directions. Yeah, so it says I can put this on top of the other one, but then it doesn't want to. Which is my confusion here. Try just going to this side and see if, like, maybe that's just a tutorial thing that's trying to have me... No? And I can't seem to select this. That'd be to make loops in it. We don't want to do that. I don't really understand. See what happens if I do that. It's not gonna do, I think, is what's gonna happen. Because there's no delete there. There's a delete planning. Yeah, that's what I couldn't find. I can't seem to select it. It could be a tutorial thing that I can't seem to select it. And like if I go into the build mode, I can't seem to select it either. Like if I right click, it just exits out of that entirely. Wait, what just happened? Did that connect them? I don't think it did it? Come back over here and try the same thing. Oh, just set you to max. No. Like, I think it might just be a tutorial thing. There we go. So it wasn't anything underneath that. I had to go to a completely different place to demolish. Alright. So that's just something that was missing from the tutorial. That's fine. Only now, I do not seem to be able to put this down still. Alright, so this be way farther out is the way it looks like it.
Excellent. Now create a new rail line from Sacramento to San Francisco. To make it use the new tracks, you need to set waypoints. To do this, select the following 4 objects in sequence: Sacramento, the outbound track; San Francisco, the return track.
San Francisco, the outbound track? Okay. All right. So to do this, we have 4 objects to select: Sacramento, the outbound track, San Francisco, and the return track. When I tried to click on the return track, it said not available. Oh, does it want me to put there? No.
Very good. Now
Oh,
use the Derwent
okay.
as the locomotive. Select freight to be loaded because this rail line should only carry freight. That's exactly how it's done.
All right.
Normally trains always take the shortest way, but by using waypoints you can specify certain paths. You should also do this for your express line so that the two lines don't get in each other's way. Otherwise, we're through with this lesson, so when you're ready, you can finish.
Yeah, I think it was just the tutorial wasn't letting me put the other one on top of the other one. I had to demolish it and then place it. So it doesn't look like it hurt me in any way, just so much as it was not quite clear on that. And that could just be tutorial version versus like
Greetings.
actual game.
This lesson is about how you can recognize the needs of a city and use them to your advantage. I'll also show you how to
Right.
invest in the production of
Oh, I
goods
see.
to ensure additional transport and growing cities, which in turn leads to even more transport.
Yeah, I see. So the problem wasn't that the other one was there. I had to be farther away, and it would have just corrected itself auto-magically. Gotcha.
Open the city dialog of Sacramento and then the supply and demand list. This list shows you, among other things, how high the stock of all goods is and how high the current demand by citizens and factories is.
Right, so they have a shortage of wheat. I'm assuming that they're grain and beer and sugar and milk.
As an example, look at grain. The city needs grain, yet the supply is at 0. This is because the nearest grain farm is too far away and is virtually unsupplied by traditional transportation. The same is true for lumber. So with the help of new rail lines, we could improve the goods coverage of the city. For corn, however, there is some supply. Here, a corn farm is nearby and goods are transported via road. A new rail line would generate revenue, but would not improve the city's fulfillment of demand until the city has grown too large for traditional transportation.
Gotcha. And this is where they were talking about when I was hearing about the game that the cities grow as you do stuff. So what I'm assuming is if I fulfill like the grain, the lumber, the sugar, and the milk need, and maybe it's just one or all of them, that the city will grow to a certain size, and then the next missing thing will be the next bottleneck. You get the idea. As long as I keep supplying them with more of their needs, they'll grow to meet those needs.
Now, close the list again and look for suitable businesses to improve the city's fulfillment of demand so that the city can grow. To the north of Sacramento, there is lumber, and in the northeast, there is grain available. Now build a station at both farms and connect them to Sacramento, preferably with double tracks and a gridiron.
Just build in the Indian village. Yeah, it totally seems like an updated version of Sid Meier's Railway, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, I think there's been quite a few games in this style before, but I've heard good things about this one specifically. Alright, let's grab your first railway. Why are you being a weird about going to that? Why are you also embedded into the ground half your journey? Oh. What? What? Why are you trying to go below the train station? Well, right. The reason it's obstructed is it's going underground for some reason. Let's try this again. We will start fresh. What? I see, so it's trying to shoot directly under. Yeah, it's trying to go into the existing track. I might be able to just share the track, honestly. Well, I think because of this conflict, I'm gonna have to go here. I have to do all sorts of shenanigans, like go over back here and go around. So we're probably gonna make a very suboptimal track here, but you know what? I don't really care. It's a tutorial. I don't get to keep it. It could be scuff. And then track direction. There you go. So you're going to be a freight train. Actually, it starts you with mixed. It'll probably be mostly freight, but I don't know if there'll be literally no passengers here. Oh, you're not telling me to put the locomotives on. You're like, what are you doing? Alright, so we want to add a point here. There we go. So we don't incur extra costs.
Don't forget to also set track directions and build supply towers.
I'm already...
And set up one rail line for each good so that they can be delivered to Sacramento. We will continue once the first goods arrive in Sacramento.
Okay, so we're getting all this set up. You're like, make a supply tower. Okay, that's fine. We'll make a supply tower. And then we gotta set the track direction. Cool. And now I need to choose Sacramento to there. So we can do a mixed line, one train, confirm. New train. Mixed line, confirm. There we go, confirm there. Okay, so now I should have both trains going. So the big thing going on right now is these 4 tracks here are shared by 2 separate sets of trains. I think that'll be okay, because even though one is a express lane, it only matters while they're both in the train station. If I get a job at a railway, will they expect me to know the job, or will they train me? Well done. If I had a pungeon, you know where you'd be.
Excellent. Select Sacramento again and watch how the city's fulfillment of demand improves. Since grain and lumber are in fairly high demand by the city, these two commodities also have a higher impact on demand coverage. Observe how the new supplies increase the goods coverage. If it's above 60%, a city grows. If it falls below 40%, it shrinks. Let's wait until the city reaches 40,000 citizens. You can look around a bit in the meantime.
So I did notice one of the nice details. So the train going out, it's got all these cargo things. It unloads them all, and then just the not caboose, just the engine goes out. Which is a nice touch, but then it makes you ask the question, alright, at some point they gotta take those trailers back so that they have trailers to load up. So part of me wishes that, like, every once in a while you'd see them going back with, like, a whole bunch of the empty ones. Alright, so we have hit over 60%, so in this theory, our population should start raising in Sacramento. And I am fast-forwarding. The game doesn't appear to have a ridiculous fast-forward. But I imagine what you probably do when you're playing like the actual game is you'd have things running the entire time you're setting up new routes and that kind of thing. I was thinking the same thing. They take them back by horse and wagon. Just something ridiculous. Like you just look over here and there's some poor horse dragging this big thing meant to be on railroad tracks, so it doesn't ride at all well on the dirt. It just wants to kind of go everywhere. Because it has no pivot points or anything. It weighs a metric ton, so the poor horse is just making all sorts of awful noises. You do a circular motion for your tracks? Or say circular motion, you're talking about having the thing where like it would loop back like that. Because it doesn't look like the game doesn't look like they actually put that into consideration. Like there's kind of wink wink magic the things on the tracks they want to put them on. That's it, dude. Yeah, the downside of doing that is that takes a lot more space. But like I said, the game kind of wink wink magics that, okay, you know, this train is going to come in, it's going to have all of its supplies. So it drops them off. And then it just magically turns around. Now, they could certainly have like a winch thing that lifts up the train and rotates it, but they usually don't have to. A lot of trains that either run two engines, one on one and one on the other. Or they can do a turnaround point somewhere. So you'd be like all four tracks here, and then there's a turnaround point here that, you know, goes to the gate. But they don't seem to do that as a concept in this game, which is fine. Because especially with the cities growing automatically, if you did have to have like this turnaround point, it'd be this thing that up the city grew, let me just put the turnaround point, up the city grew, let me just put the turn, up the city grew, let me just put the turn. Which is a real life problem you deal with. That you get the conflict of going, okay, you have the needs of the city so far as real estate, and you have the needs of the city so far as supply, and both needs need to kind of be handled. But there is a conflict. They do a turn. Oh yeah, that's right. They have the circle thing, where it's like there'd be a circle here. You put the train on it. They would just get like a horse or something to drag it around, or steam engine or whatever to like drag it around to turn it. You know, so the track would be here. It rotate it so it lines up again, but the other way. Forgot about that. I've seen those before. Those are commonly used when you're looking at theme parks and they have their ride vehicles for maintenance. They do that a lot of time. Like, I think the most obvious ones I could think off the top of my head, if you ever get to go to Magic Kingdom's People Mover or to Universal Studios Islands of Adventures, the Sneetches ride, Those ones, they don't like try to mask it or anything. It's just like you can see a big circle, like when you're going at the beginning of the end of the rides, that you see like the tracks turn and you pull onto it, and all they do is they would pull on the vehicle they want to get off, they disconnect it, rotate it, you know, take that to the side, connect it again, and go on. Because they have to perform maintenance on all those things, and they can't do it while they're on a ride. Depending on how much they copied from the original Railroads game, that might be a station upgrade later. Maybe. I haven't seen a thing that they demonstrate a need for it, because these are magically turning around. It could be wink wink nudge nudge, it's just part of the maintenance building. Alright, so we should be hitting 40,000, I think the next tick. Or not. It'll get there. Is there sugar nearby? There's no sugar. I'm assuming that's sugar. Yeah, it's sugar. It just made them stop / go faster than the original? Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't played the Railway Empires 1, so who knows? They don't have it. They'll just have like a picture of like a whole bunch of guys like take logs underneath it, lift it up, you know, all do like a little walk in a circle and then put it back down. I'd be surprised if it was cocaine. I mean, don't get me wrong, in this time frame, cocaine was used for medicinal purposes. I mean, I guess it technically still is, but exceedingly rarely. Like, it's almost never used anymore. There's better alternatives.
Excellent. Sacramento has reached a new level. When a city grows, this has many effects. The need for goods increases, more types of goods are demanded, more industries can be constructed, and special buildings become available. Another industry can now be constructed in Sacramento. Beer would be good because grain is needed as raw material for it. Besides, San Francisco also needs beer, and there already exists a rail line. So open the construction menu and select the breweries. Now place the new industry in Sacramento inside the inner city area. Make sure that the new building complex doesn't get in the way of your future construction projects. For example, you can't lay tracks through factory complexes.
I just want to point out here, they're like, just make sure, be very careful. Do not put this important building in the way of your tracks. This subdivision, oh, that's fine. Bulldoze the whole thing. Do not put it in the way of your stuff. But, you know, citizens get wrecked.
Now leave the construction menu again and select the new industry. Here you will see some info about your new industry. The rotating gear shows that the production is running. But if raw materials are missing or the export warehouse is overflowing, production stops. This decreases the utilization and consequently your profit. If the work stands still for a long time, you will also lose money.
Okay.
This can be the same city or any other city that can be reached by rail. So you can assume that your rail line to San Francisco will be used to transport beer. If one day the production of your industry is no longer adequate, you can enlarge it by increasing the level. This will also make your industry yield more profit, but you'll probably earn the most from transport of goods. Now select a rural business, because I'd like to show you that you can also buy this business. You can acquire any rural or city business as long as it is not owned by one of your competitors. This starts an auction in which all competitors can participate, and the highest bidder gets the business. Start an auction now.
So, we're now the big banking corporate rail station going to the little local farm and going, yeah, you don't get your say in it. I'm pushing a button, and you are now up for auction.
Very good. Now try to acquire this rural business. Excellent. One last thing. Open the flow of goods display. The origin of travelers, mail, and goods is displayed here, as well as where they are transported to. This is very useful if you're looking for a specific farm, for example, or want to know which transport routes you could take over.
Okay. So if I was like, I need sugar, I could click on this and be like, ah, sugar was way the heck over there. Or just the same of, I have this. Oh, look, everyone's pretty satisfied with that, except way over here. So if yeah, so like literally cows is probably actually a bad investment for me, because these all are having their needs met. Now granted, these two are from this, but I might be able to move to Reading, but everyone else is pretty satisfied with their cow supply. Versus corn, if I can get my hands on corn, there's a bunch of places over here who don't have corn, I see.
Down here, you will see explanations about the flow of goods. Now select different goods and move your focus to rural businesses and cities to see different information and the flow of goods. When you're ready, you can then exit this tutorial.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's when you look at the past, like it's like a lot of the illicit drugs nowadays were once used for medicinal purposes. We found out they were super highly addictive and then came up with better ones.
Lesson, I want to
and,
explain
you
how
know, got rid of the
passengers,
old
mail,
ones.
And freight can change trains. This is useful because it means you need fewer rail lines and you can easily distribute goods from central stations to all directions.
Like
now select Sacramento, and there, passengers and mail.
Like for example, like nowadays for major surgery pain maintenance, we use morphine. Before morphine used heroin because morphine didn't exist and wasn't done. But then we started to find out like just how dangerously addictive heroin was. That creates a chemical addiction, and that we're like, wait a second, we have a better thing now. Let's not use that anymore. But it was what you did. Like you go into surgery, they do a major surgery, and you get your hit of heroin because that was the pain management of the time. Because otherwise it was, here's a beer, lay down, put this in your mouth, good luck. Which is not an effective pain management strategy.
Here you can see the destinations passengers and mail have from Sacramento. Right now, that's just San Francisco.
They wouldn't give you beer, they'd give you liquor, by the way.
Destinations that can be reached entirely by rail. However, this does not mean that these goods choose only direct connections.
Okay.
Indeed, passengers and mail may change trains in cities and at rural stations with hotels if there is no shorter way, and if the way by rail is at most twice as long as the direct way. Now, let's try this out. Now, build a station in Reading and connect the city to your station at the clearing. Feel free to use new tracks there. Then, create a new rail line that runs from the clearing to Reading. As soon as lumber arrives in Reading, we will continue.
Okay. So we have clearing, so it wants me to connect new tracks to Reading. So go here. Oh, you don't have a train station. Hang on, you need a train station. I like how I can't put it here even though it's like clearly in the city area. It's like, nope, you gotta eminent domain. Look, man, what is the point of being a train station or a train company if you don't eminent domain half a city out of existence once in a while? Look, we don't make the rules, it's just the way it works. I also like that I would expect the road to just cross here, but the road just ends, so it's in theory we've just cut off these cities from being able to transport goods directly. Now obviously the reality is they would just cross the tracks at a certain point, but it's just the presentation of it. Okay, so let's go here. Put this in place. I realize this probably isn't necessary. But I'm probably good. Hey. There we go. Probably make sure to do that anyway. So I want you to be mixed. All right. Are you starting here? Where's my train? I had a train, right? Build a new station Reading, connect your city to Clearing. Feel free to use new tracks, then create a new rail line that runs from Clearing to Reading. As soon as lumber arrives, Reading will continue. I believe that's set up? Question mark? What? Why no train go? Oh, I know what I did. Gotta click on here. Gotta click on there. Gotta choose my train. Forgot to click on the endpoints. That's on me. I was like, I keep buying these trains and they're not going anywhere. Oh, the second road is just gone. It's just gone. Yep, no more taking it by road. The train has moved into town. I'm assuming that's my competitor owns the lumberyard. I assume that would also be a consideration later on, is when you're building out your network. If your competitor owns a business, you'd try and want to circumvent them as much as possible. Like, to meet your needs in your town, sometimes you'll have to consume competitor products. Because, like, okay, do you hold back your whole town, which is going to cost you a bunch of money?
Now, so that the passengers and mail can change trains at the clearing, you need a hotel at the station, but you haven't researched it yet. Therefore, open the research diagram and unlock the hotel. Very good. Now select the station at the clearing and expand it with the hotel.
Where is the hotel? So wait, we've selected... Oh, not here. I need to go clearing. That's right. Down here. That's my problem. Maybe over here going hotel.
Exactly. Now passengers and mail can change at the station. Open the overview Passengers and Mail in Sacramento again, and you'll notice that passengers and mail can now get to Reading via the station with the hotel. Maybe it will take a while for the new route to be registered, then we'll just wait. Hotels, by the way, are only required at rural stations because in cities, passengers and mail can always change trains.
Okay.
Freight can also be transferred from one rail line to another at stations, but there must always be a warehouse for this, because freight takes up a lot of space. Now let's try it out. For this, unlock the warehouse within the research diagram and expand the station at the clearing with the warehouse. Unlike the hotel, the warehouse needs to be adjusted to the goods that are to be transferred here. Therefore, select the constructed warehouse and instruct it to take in the goods, meat, beer, and cloth. You don't have to specify a quantity.
Why can I not select these anymore? Okay, I believe we've selected those. Has it been selected? Looks like my preferred circular rails is very much available. Gotcha. Oh, I see how this works. I see. Okay. So meat, beer, and cloth.
Very good. The goods selected by you can now change the rail line at the warehouse. Note, the goods in the warehouse do not belong to you because the warehouse only serves as a stopover for changing trains. All goods already have a fixed destination.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the hissing we're hearing is all the trains. They're train sounds.
As with travelers and mail, freight is only shipped by a business if the destination can be reached by rail. For example, the meat industry in Sacramento can now ship meat to Reading by rail, knowing that the meat will reach its destination via the warehouse. Now, feel free to look at how the goods transfer at the clearing. You may also need to increase the number of trains to transport all the new goods. Then, finish this chapter when...
Finish this chapter. Done. Moving on. No time for your outro. I think this is the last tutorial we're going to have right here. And then it'll be onto the game.
Now we'll move on to banks and personnel. Loans, stock trading, buying up competitors, personnel management, and sabotage. We'll start right away once you've opened the company dialogue.
Did you say sabotage? I wasn't aware it was that kind of
Here
game.
You can see some data about your company on the left, and on the right side, the current company value and how it's calculated.
Okay.
The results of the last 4 quarters are displayed here. The last quarter is on the left.
Okay. So apparently we made $500,000. Our operating costs are about $160,000, and we burned about $1.5 million in expansion.
Here you can see which companies are currently competing in the transportation business and how much these companies are worth. Each company, including yours, is a public stock company that received its initial funds from shareholders. Therefore, you can buy your competitors' shares as well. Once you have acquired all the shares of a competitor, you can merge with them and the competitor disappears. But be careful, if a competitor gains value faster than you, they will also try to buy up the shares of your company and kick you out of the race. Buy some competitors' shares now. There is quite a bit more information about mergers, but you can take a look at that at your leisure by opening the Tips and Tricks section. Here you will find more information about each topic. If you open the tips from a dialogue, you jump directly to the right place.
Okay, so we bought 1/3 of that guy's company.
Here you can buy shares of different markets and issue company bonds to take out a loan. The higher your company value, the higher the bond's value. Now buy some stock and issue a bond. In the last section, you can see all kinds of statistics and company developments. Look around a bit, then close the dialogue to continue.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at the personnel. Open the corresponding dialogue. In this dialogue, you can change basic settings for the 4 different personnel areas of your company. The first area is for the engineer.
All right.
Your trains are on the move 24 hours a day. With a daily work time of 8 hours, each train needs 3 engineers. If you increase the work time, for example, you will need fewer engineers. But the quality of the work will decrease.
Okay.
How many of the available positions can actually be filled depends on how much you invest in your employees. How well each individual works and how many positions are filled ultimately determines the efficiency of an area. Efficient engineers, for example, reduce the maintenance requirements of your locomotives.
Okay.
Now take a look at the 3 other personnel areas. They all work similarly, but each has different effects. One special feature is your security personnel. Not only do they affect mail and freight revenues, but they can also prevent sabotage when effectively used.
Don't be shy, increase the number of worker hours to 24. Hey, sometimes you just have to. Alright.
As always, you can find more information about personnel in the Tips and Tricks dialogue. But now, let's turn to the last area, the saboteurs. You can invest money into searching for saboteurs to damage your competitor's business. The more money you invest, the faster you'll find more experienced saboteurs. Start the search for a saboteur now. Go ahead and invest the highest amount. Normally, you would have to wait for a while now, but I'll take the liberty to speed up the search. As soon as you have found a saboteur, you can use them. Now close the dialogue and select something that belongs to your competitor north of Reading. For example, a station. Then, order the sabotage.
All I see with you are breakdowns. It's going to be an uneven battle.
Okay, so I'm supposed to look at something that they own that I want. Oh, it's trying to tell me to go up here to one of their businesses. Why are we gonna go pick on Eugene? Would you like to task saboteur with sabotaging Donovan's train station? This will succeed with probability 90%. If successful, the station will not be able to load wagons for 20 days.
No!
That's the response. No! Oh, my train station.
That's how it's done. Whether you want to sabotage your competitors or not, of course, is your decision. It's not important, but you should expect that your competitors will not be squeamish with you. So make sure you have enough security personnel. That also brings this lesson to an end. One more thing. As long as your business is small, you don't necessarily need to worry about your staff. At some point, however, you'll have 50 or more employees in one area, and you'll incur significant costs. By then, you should optimize your staff.
That's kind of counter to the way real world works. Real world, usually when you're a smaller company, is when you have to be like far more careful with your staff because you have less resources to throw at it. But as your company gets bigger, you can absorb, like, having a bad hire is not that bad when you got 50 people, versus a bad hire is really freaking bad when you have 4 people. Okay, so now after all that, we finally get to play the game. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's not restricted. Okay. I guess we do the story? I didn't realize there was a story to this game. Oh, we even go to Europe, too. Okay. Yes, we got Northeast US. We've got basically England. United Kingdom, whatever. We've got the Great Plains. We've got the, not quite all the way southeast, but south. And then we got Central Europe. All right. So, all maps. So you can do North America, Europe, or all maps. Because it feels like if I do the campaign, what's going to end up happening is like I'll be trapped into this little thing. I'll do the story. I'll finish the story, and it'll kick me out to the next place. I don't kind of want to do that, honestly. I kind of want to be like, give me the world. Give me the world, let me play. My fear is that sandbox mode will be where like money is not an object. So I think we're looking at custom map. Yeah, there is sandbox. My fear is because I have a custom game option and a sandbox is separate one, my assumption is the sandbox you just keep building and like have fun with it. They also have scenarios. Okay, which is just like historic events like the Gold Rush. A whole bunch of things. I think we're just gonna go with custom mode. I'm not gonna worry about having like the whole story aspect of it. Now the question is, where do you want to base from? Like they want to put us in Omaha. I'm playing the first Railway Empire, and one of the missions broke twice because it got ahead of tasks. Yeah, that's also a thing. Meanwhile, it's not where I am. I think I'm going to start us on Tampa. Like, that is considered Central Florida. Just because. Starting year as far back as we can go. I'm going to leave the whole map. So I can choose. We have the engineer. So locomotives require 10% less maintenance. Lower cost for tracks, tunnels, and bridges. The bonus from Express is 5% and 10. Okay. We have the gangster. Can acquire factories from cities without an auction. Chance of refunding the cost of an auction. Higher cost for tracks, tunnels, and bridge. Bonus to express trains is 20% instead of 10. 5% higher staff efficiency. Maintenance is completed slower. The professor. The cost of auction are sequentially reduced by about a third. All locomotives are way cheaper. Like, way, way cheaper. But we get less revenue from passengers and mail. The general, higher revenue from freight and mail. Lower track cost construction. Higher cost for tunnels and bridge. So just laying track is cheaper, but anytime I have to do anything fancy with tracks, it gets way more expensive. Factories and rural businesses upgrades are really cheap. All new businesses are cheaper. Personnel costs are more. And that's all of them. The two that stood out to me was the entrepreneur and the gangster. Because the auctioning seems like the thing I would be dealing with a competitor. Now, the downsides, I mean, setting up new routes is going to be horrifically expensive. Versus the entrepreneur, like, just getting more value out of my express seems pretty good. But the chance of refunding the cost of an auction sounds interesting. It's 1 in 5 chance. I think I'm going to go with it. And her background is basically she had a wealthy family, yada, yada, yada. Her relatives squandered a lot of the remaining things. She took over the business. And it's just been clever, like, business person. Okay, so the company name is... We need a Mimi company name. And then we'll need initials for it. So, what are we going to make this? Because Venus doesn't necessarily fit this. Rita would. We'll do Venus. Or... No. Ah, there's a character limit. No. That's a bummer. I got all excited about doing that. That's a bummer. Sure, I misspelled that. Okay. Locomotion Inc. Locomotion Inc. LLC.
Thank you, Poi T, for subscribing for 19 months.
Thank you, Poity, for the T1 sub. That's 19 months. You've been subbed to the channel. I really do appreciate. That should still work. That clip has not been deleted. But thank you so much, Poity, for the T1 sub. That's 19 months you've been subbed to the channel. I really do appreciate the continued support. That's a year and 7 months you've been supporting the channel, and I really do appreciate that. I do hope you're enjoying your advertisement-free viewing, as well as access emotes. That's almost 2 years. Are we really coming up pretty close to 2 years since I hit affiliate? Are we almost there? Locomotion Incorporated LLC will be LLC Inc. Sure, why not? We'll just go with it because otherwise it'll be here. And I have to give us. That's fine. We just need to start, because otherwise I'll sit there and get stuck at... Oh, initial funds. I have no idea what's even reasonable. City founding on. Okay, so cities must be founded first. Interesting. Regional concessions. This is optionally enabled. The map is divided into different, partially historic regions. Before you can carry out actions in these regions, you must first acquire a concession. I don't know what that means. Refunds, you can refund stuff, that's fine. Revenue is all there. Inflation rate determines whether construction in new buildings should become more and more expensive over time. Moderate or high means construction station will increase by 2 or 4%. 3 million, let's just retire. Yeah. In 1920 or whatever this is, 3 million, we are the bourgeois. I mean, we come from a wealthy merchant family. Sets level of difficulty for tasks, we don't know. Mergers on, sure. Strength of AI, sure. Your competitors. Oh, you can only have 3. The higher level of difficulty, the greater factor which your score will be multiplied for completing all tasks. Sure. I don't know. Let's do that. Yeah. $3 million. Start getting a bunch of bonds. You're set. Don't worry about it.
Good to see you. You have several competitors on this big map, and I've written down some tasks for you to start with. Follow them to get the highest score possible.
Alright. So. Well, that's interesting. Tribe of Kulusa. Tribe of the Seminole. So, like, in reality, we're showing this bottom spot of the state as being this absolute torrential marsh. It's actually this area here that's the torrential marsh. And, like, the entire bottom edge of Florida is not a desert. It is humid AF here. I'll forgive it, though. And, like, what is with like Jacksonville and like Brevard County and all that being a desert as well? It's fine. All right, so we're based out of Tampa. So the first thing we want to do, connection bonus. So we'll get a connection bonus of 150,000 for connecting these. So we've got sugar, we've got wheat, we've got corn. Better to not overthink it. Yeah, a little bit. And Tampa has beer, which I don't know if is true back then, but it's certainly true now. There's quite a few breweries in the Tampa area. Alright, so what are your demands? You have need for grain? You have need for everything. Sugar and grain are your two big immediate needs. So let's get that sorted. So we'll start out by building our first railway station. Of course, I can't put it on the edge of town. I have to put it smash right in the middle of town. Hey, Proger, how's it going? And also, welcome in, Poity. So yeah, so just the way the game works, it's like, yep, immediately imminent domain, a quarter of Tampa. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Oh, right, I have to actually build the station on the other end. Meanwhile, the farm, on the other hand, I can put it plenty out here. I don't have to like smash it directly into the middle of the farm. Okay, so you should have enough to set all this up. Alright, so it's not going to require any bridges or anything, so we're good there. And I got the achievement Country Bumpkin. I don't know why. It'll set this up so we can have multiple rails on here. In hindsight, it probably should have used the outermost lanes, but we'll deal with that when we get there. Yeah, they shouldn't conflict at a meaning level, so for right now, I am going to just... I would like to... What? Oh, it's just smart enough to do that. Okay, that's cool. And we'll put the exchange there and over here. Let's see. Oh, there. I'm just thinking about getting this game soon. Can you give me your opinion of the game so far? So I'm only about just shy of 2 hours in. So far I'm enjoying it. That said, like I said, I am very new to the game still. But it does look like it's got a lot of thought in it so far as how you set up all your systems and all that. Like, we basically finished the tutorial a minute ago, and now we're setting up our very first one. Oh, wait, actually, this rail station should supply both farms. So that's good. Alright. But yeah, so it does have, like, you manage supply and demand, the cities grow, you have different trains that, like, are better at freight and better at other things. So we'll do this. For right now, we'll just use mixed. So boom, and that'll be 1. And I'll set up another route for there and there with a train that is a mixed as well. We will unpause it. So we have Miami down here. So it's probably good that we actually set up a route. Does Miami need our beer? Oh, you're a settlement. You're not even a city yet. Can I still build a train station and help you grow? Because I got a bunch of money. It seems like the right idea to try and connect as much of these supplies as possible. And I'll put one over here at the cattle farm. And I'm trying to grow pretty aggressively. Oh, you need supply stuff on you. Supply station here. Supply over here. I'll need to expand... Oh, hey. Hi, newspaper. Locomotive Railway Company Locomotion, LLC Incorporated, has achieved a new record speeds yesterday. In the process, the train was traveling on a main line. The breakthrough record was toasted with a beer and whiskey afterwards. We can be curious when the next record will be achieved, but it's slowly becoming questionable how fast such a locomotive can still become and where the progress will take us one day. And then there's a bunch of stuff that is not actually relevant to stuff. Alright. So we'll have to add maintenance. So, we'll add construction here. There's the maintenance depot. And I shouldn't need the other things really here at the moment. Okay. So now I want to connect these routes up. Okay, that's cool. So I can literally just click on the thing on the end, it'll make it like that. Alright, so we'll add our switches. Choose direction. So the moment I'm just setting up a bunch of this train line cannot perform any actions at the station, Perry Station. Check those stations do not have the necessary... Why can't you perform any actions there? I mean, I guess because it's a settlement, not a city. There'll be another maintenance depot here. We'll just leave that alone for right now. And I know I'm reusing the same inside railways kind of thing. That is a deliberate decision. Alright, Pie Man, you have a good one. Sorry I couldn't give you more information than you already had. Unfortunately, just tuned into the game. But I am having a good time so far, for what it's worth. Alright, we could do this. That leaves us to connect this railway through here. Alright. I didn't expect that. Edit. I want to move it. Look. I goofed, alright? So this time let's take this. Let's take it from the other side. Take you here. And just scoot you around there for 2 seconds. Now build the second track. Now put the switch on here. And over here. So you're going that way. You're going this way. There, that way they're going the same direction through all these different stops. Alright. And that means... So I've connected that. So... The challenge is, I could put the train stations here, like I could put a route from here to here, but that'd just be, I need the warehouses. It gives me sugar and corn. I'll do it. Alright, so meanwhile, I'm going to need to go here. I don't actually have that yet. Well, that's lovely. I didn't mean to build that. What did I build? Main Sipo, that's fine. Okay, so task list. Connect 4 cities to a rail network. And that'd be Jacksonville as well. So let's look at our research. I don't know the rate we get research. Oh, we get that much per month. Train whistle increases safety at train stations, level crossing, thus protects against injury. In addition to the famous whistling sound, increase the popularity of the railway among the population. So basically, it lets me increase the price. Sure. Sure. Yeah, and they're complaining because they're like, we're doing this without making any money. It's like, yeah, I know. Look, man, someday Miami's going to be a big deal. Mark my words. Someday you're going to want to care about the whole Miami thing. Alright, so next up we got Jacksonville. So let's go ahead and get that connected. What are you? It's privately owned land, you can't build there. Alright, we can go ahead. Locomotion cannot be stopped. Rail length of over 757 miles. The company director Venus Orozco told the newspaper that while they are pleased to have set themselves apart from the competition, they are far from having achieved all of their goals for the benefit of the citizens. The railway road construction business is quite lucrative. Railroad companies secure land along the tracks in this way. If this area is then settled, the value of the land increases to a fortune. Alright, so let's get back to doing this. Alright. You need to go up or down? Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I've got all that built. This is in our city, so I'm going to go ahead and put a maintenance depot here. And I'll add a new route here to get sugar into the city. They're like, no freight, no freight, no freight. Look, man, hear me out. But you are connected. 3 years later, Miami is disappearing from the map. Main reason for its decline was the train station, which killed the wildlife and ruined the local economy. Yeah, that checks out. So we can hook up Tallahassee next. We're definitely not taking the most efficient route of doing a lot of this, by the way. But, you know. Okay. So let's go ahead and put train station in the middle here. And one over there. And get that hooked up to our network. So that one goes down, and that one goes up. So like right now I'm not putting a lot of details into the individual stops. It just hook everything up as fast as we can. And then from there, what I'm going to end up doing is trying to connect like all the locations. So this one's actually going to connect on that end.
Another task completed.
Thank you for startling me with the other task complete being really loud. So that one's down, this one's up. Alright, so that should connect all that. Now I can just go here and say I would like a train to go from there to there. And do mixed. Yes. We will want a maintenance depot here. We'll be able to afford locomotives. Oh, I've been putting trains in each and every one of them. They're all hooked up. I have a bunch that are complaining because they don't have freight yet because Miami's not actually a thing yet. So let's look at our tasks. Buy 16% of a competitor's stock. Yeah, I'm basically counting on Miami actually becoming a thing. If we go to these rural stops and I can get the warehouses, then I'll be able to like move the goods up through all here. And get all the way to Pensacola as well. Alright, and how are you doing, Tampa? So, Tampa's got a bunch of goods coming in. We do have corn on the network. But it's not going to reach there because it has to go through these locations. I mean, I don't have warehouses yet. So, the good news is warehouses are soon. It'll be a couple of months in game, but it'll be soon. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so I'm not allowed to acquire any competitor stock quite yet. Yeah, so I should have wood, wheat, sugar, corn, cattle, all on my network. It's just they're not available quite yet. It's saying connection bonus to get these places, but I am connected. Maintenance. Oh yeah. Thank you. Need to go here and put one there. There. And there. And all the others are square. Dispatch all shortens the wait times of all trains at the station by 20%. The restaurant increases revenue from all passengers who start or transfer at this station. The market hall increases revenue from all passengers who start or transfer with this station. Can be combined with the restaurant. The post office increases revenue from mail and post. Okay. Four-week statistics. We have had 0 passengers, 0 mailbags, and 0 conflicts. Right, because I don't have the ability to move people yet. So basically, we just need to fast forward time a little bit until we can get a little bit more research to start allowing the rural areas to act as connecting points. I don't get why this is... Does it not count as connected because it's going through there, that I have to, like, direct connect it? How much would it cost me to direct connect there? Because that should be connected. I would assume this qualifies as a connection. Unless I want to have, like, an express lane that just goes past it or something. Alright, I was just checking. Because you have demand for sugar. Yeah, like you... Well, I guess you have sugar in stock. That's what that's saying, is I have it in stock at the moment. Okay. So the need is met for right now. Issues with production because... Alright. Yeah, so what's going to happen is right now they're not going to be buying much, so we're going to have to wait on that. Either way is going to connect to that point. Yeah, so I could certainly see maybe cutting this across to Tallahassee directly. Do like an express train over there. We might try and see if I can make that work. Could be a little tricky to set that up. Oh yeah. That's just a $4 million rail right there. Let's not do it that way. Start here. Yeah, I feel like $4 million is a little out of my budget right now. Let's try a different route that doesn't involve building a giant bridge the entire way. Well, that seems to be a problem. Okay, so the way I can see this working, we'll try and connect this again. And I already have a plan of how we fix this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point here that I can move. We'll have it just follow this train route for a while. Then over here. What about a merge of the two tracks? Well, first I need to get this to be higher than those tracks. Hey, the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm trying to make it so I can cross over this. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So I could... I'd use the existing lines we already have here, and then just have a separate route that comes off of it kind of thing. Cancel that one. We definitely don't want to go over... that any more than is necessary. Okay. Smarter, not harder. Yeah. So that's like a bypass route over here. Oh, let's not do this. There we go. What are the directions of these? Oh, I have to actually finish building it. So that's the outbound. That is not the outbound. Okay. All right. Well, how do I want to deal with that? Because this lane is going the wrong way for what I want. Yeah, no, I figured I would enjoy it. It's just a matter of finding time to schedule. Okay. I keep trying to right-click to do stuff. And no matter how many times I do it, it's not the right answer ever. Alright, that'll just have to be the way it is. So it goes all the way up here. Honestly, let's just go with this strategy here. Take it slightly over. Okay. So that's going to be a pretty expensive route, but I think that's fine. We are connecting the entire one end. Oh, I just saw the price there. I can't afford to do that. Never mind. That's $300,000, and I got about $300,000 in my name, so we're just going to go ahead and let that keep running. Oh boy. That is not currently in the budget. So lesson learned is I shouldn't have bothered connecting all these other things that I didn't have what I needed for. I want to connect that. Okay. So I have it connected. I'm not going to make a parallel rail. Why not standardize the directions of all tracks and try again? I do have the track standardized. This is like all of these tracks is this way out and then this way back. And then the problem is because this is a track going this way, I'd have to branch off from this side to go all the way up there and do that again. It's fine. Like, this is going to accomplish the same goal. I'm going to want two of these connecting major cities anyways. It's like right now that can go either way. You're going to need to be mixed. But I can't buy you yet, but I can buy you now. Never mind. I had to pay people. So I'll buy you soon. So right now, this is going to be just one track going back and forth. And we'll turn around and make it better. The good news is I'm supposed to get a big payout from that station when I hook it up. Alright, come on. I'm being slightly alarmed by the fact that it says I'm supposedly gaining money each week, yet I'm watching the money go down very rapidly. Alright, so we might be game overing and starting over because I didn't fully understand the way I was hooking everything up, and so we just got ourselves in trouble on a lot of stuff. Because of a whole bunch of trains were running back and forth with no freight. How are you telling me that my average balance is going up by 6,000 when I'm just watching my money get absolutely obliterated? Because it's not even like kind of going down, it's just going straight down. Which is interesting, because it says, in theory by this, I should be making 300,000, and like we have the one time, yeah, I should have made $300,000, and they just have all of the construction. But yeah, here's the problem, is I have all these ones because Miami doesn't qualify as a city yet. So Jacksonville's making a little bit of profit. I mean, honestly, these are all claiming that there's like no train use whatsoever. Okay, so we've definitely followed this whole thing up. Restart. Yup. Because I goofed that one up at the beginning. All right, let's be a little bit smarter about this. See, I misunderstood that we had, because I immediately.
Welcome. This big map is your new home, but your competitors won't make it easy for you. For your first projects, I've jotted down a few tasks.
Yeah, because the first thing I did is like, oh, let's hook up the sugar and all that, not realizing that if we looked at the inventory, they were sitting on a big pile of sugar already in their inventory, so they weren't accepting anything. So I spent a whole lot of money, and I didn't get what we were looking for. So let's be smarter about this time. Do you have cattle? Do you want cattle? You have no desire for cattle. So there's no point in me hooking up cattle right now. You want a connection to Miami, and you're willing to give me $300,000 for it. Practice runs once. Yep. How are you doing as well, Tampa? You don't have corn, so Tampa does want corn, and it wants to be hooked up to Miami as well. Okay. So if we do like a pass-through this way... Alright, let's just set this up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to connect is I'm going to connect the corn, because that should make our people happy. So step one, let's get our train station set up. Let's turn it this way. As best you can tell, this route is going to be the far... Oh, I need to build the train station down here first. Now I'm going to hook up both of these. Wait, are you on the outside rail? Yeah, you're on the outside rail, so build that one. And I am going to make it a pair, and I'm going to have the crossing. I'm just probably going to do that every single time regardless. Because that just makes it so if I, my route ever needs more, I can just stick another train on it. Alright, and... So this one, I believe, is going to be a freight train only. I don't have a choice of different train types, do I? Nope, it's gonna be a mixed train. That's what we're gonna do. Get to work, buddy. Get to work. Oh, click on you. Click on you. Wait a second. Oh, hang on. Wait a second. I may have just realized something that was not taught particularly well in the tutorial, but I wish it was. I bet you. Put the train station over here. And we connect this here. And here. And set this up here. And that there. Get those directions set. Okay, because what I'm thinking is going to happen here is I believe I can go 1, 2, 3. Yes, I can. All right. So now that train should go to the Perry stop for the corn and to Miami, all in one go. And then I can make a route that goes through here, through the sugar, to Jacksonville. Yeah, we can use the rightmost rails. Oh, right. Build the train stations up here first. And I'll need to add the supply depot and the maintenance stuff and all that to our spots we'll get there. Which one did I choose? Okay, we're all the way on the outmost right, so... Now I can go here, do the little switcher. Put it over there. Somewhere. Put one over here. And one down here. Okay. Up. Down. Up. Down. Alright. And now I can take a train here and say from you to you. I said to you. To you. Alright. Now, curious thing is if I have to set the stop on the way back, or if that works or not. So is it just saying I am cooking up all these three, or I'm saying go to this one, then to this one, then to this one, then drop the whole way back quickly? Which is honestly probably fine. We'll see. If I have to fix a route later, I already own the train engine. That's fine. And you don't have a need for corn or wheat or cattle yet. Again, outpost. Yeah. I also need to put the maintenance depot, so... So technically, I only need the one here and the one here. I shouldn't need it on this route, because I do have a train that's going the entire length, and so I just need to grab it at some point along the way. And that means all of my trains do ultimately stop here. So I can say I would like the maintenance depot, and that'll cover all of our trains we have, period. Kind of just want to buy all the things, but we're not going to do that yet. Alright. So we can also connect Tallahassee. So I'll do like last time, but I'm going to route through this spot up here. put that there. They'll probably want on this side of town. Well, how do you make money as an infrastructure magnate in this game? So basically, this is going to like old school train stuff. The pretty much my main draws for money is if people want to ride on my trains to go from like one city to the next, they're gonna pay me. All right, so let's see. I need to move that a little farther out. I do not want you to make a big tunnel through the mountains, please. It is Florida. It's flat. Why are you having to tunnel? The hills are like nothing here. But if they want to put freight on your trains, they gotta pay you. If they want to ride in your trains, they gotta pay you. So I'm basically just trying to get them to pay me. All right. For all that. So because I own the railway, they have like no choice but to do business with me. All right, and we'll go and take this one here to the far left tracks.
Very good. Another step closer to our goal.
Yay, we've connected 4 cities. And this time we're doing it in a way that makes sense. Alright, that should line up with everything over there. Same plan as last time, we'll have a route from Tampa to Baker's Rest to Tallahassee. It'll be a mixed route for the time being. Alright. So right now, Tampa is very clearly like the middle of our network. And this time, I have a bit more money. We've got it all hooked up. I should not see a bunch of trains going, I have no freight. We did finish hooking up 4 cities. Oh, so they did count Miami as a city, even though it is a settlement. Well, that's good. Alright. Construct a university in Pensacola is one of the things that'll be an objective for us later. I can probably get Pensacola on the network as well. I'm curious why I haven't been paid for this one yet. Where is... Okay, the train is going. Oh, and I need to go up here because I have a new route that we've added. So I'll add a supply depot along there. Cannot be stopped. Okay, so this is the same thing we got last time where it's like, we're going to achieve, like, our things. Alright. So I should be getting... Yeah, so we're actually picking up sugar for Tampa. The curious thing is if you're going for sugar for Tampa and you're going to Miami... Huh. We'll see how that goes. Yep, so Rolling Thunder has the fastest train. Well, Rolling Thunder, that's not me. My competitor has the fastest train. Those monsters. How dare they? Do they know who I am? I am the person who does not have the fastest train. That's who I am. Alright, so it's going to be a pain point I'm going to have to deal with. That, it looks like it picked up all the sugar on the way out. not the way back. Which might be an issue I gotta deal with on that route. Which it might be all I need to do. It might be an issue that all I need to do for this. I want to actually look at it again. I keep wanting. Yeah, you know what that doesn't look like? This is definitely not what Florida looks like. For anyone who is wondering, there is not a place in all of Florida that looks anything like this. That's fine. Yeah, it's like, that looks like Arizona. I mean, that's at least closer, like, sure, we do definitely have pine trees here. Wait. What are you? Are you supposed to be a black bear? I mean, we do have bears in Florida. Not many nowadays. That's fine. We already have the maintenance depot here built. Yeah. Yeah, this would be like deep green and it would be wet. Like, you look down here what this looks like. This is closer, but this type of land would be this area. Out here you'd have like sand right along the edges, and it would be... It'd be like this, but denser. Pretty much up to anywhere there's not buildings. I'm not actually, but I bet Florida would at least have one train Florida. This is good enough. Yeah. It's fine. Like, I'm not actually upset about it. It's just like, it's very clear that the way they've done this is certain altitudes and all that. It wouldn't be quite that bad, but... We break for nobody achievement. Mystery tour achievement. Okay. So we already know that it's going to want us to put a university in Tallahassee as one of our things. So we're going to go ahead and start that. Or not Tallahassee, Pensacola. So we're going to just go ahead and eminent domain all of the housing in Pensacola. And I believe I've been saying the right track is out and the left track is in. Yes. They'll connect that to Tallahassee. Alright. So now I'll have a train that goes from Tallahassee to Allen Stop to Pensacola. Pensacola, there we go. It'll just be a mixed train for the moment. We will confirm that. Cannot perform any actions at Allen Stop. Why can you not? Why can you not perform any actions at Allen Stop? Oh, because they don't need those goods. That's fine. So right now, they're just going to literally pass through the middle of town. Like, we just eminent domained a whole chunk of the farm. And are just now passing through town. And we don't even, like, stop in town. It's because they have the vegetables and all that, but neither Tallahassee or the other one care. Yeah, so later on I'll need to include that stop, but right now that stop is effectively like a non-functional stop. Alright. So we'll add a maintenance building on this spot. Need to do that because my only other maintenance building is all the way down in Tampa. But realistically, like that train doesn't go by Tampa, so it'll need a maintenance spot along the way there. All right. We got 2 more lanes not used here. Realistically, those 2 lanes are going to take over here to get the wheat and the cattle, which wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm just curious that you're not doing anything. Don't you have a need for that? You literally want the corn. Oh, you know, I bet you it is. All right. Can I change your route while you're on it, or do I have to? Yeah. You check, let's see. So I want it to go out and carry sugar to Miami. And I want separately to bring stuff back from Miami. You know what? Does it need to be 2 separate routes? Is that what I'm not understanding? So like have one go out and one go back as 2 separate train routes? Let's try that and see how that goes. So instead, you, then you, then you. Okay. So that time it didn't complain. So that should help. So one goes to Miami, the other one comes back from Miami. Alright. So that's the case. Jacksonville, Archer, here. Tallahassee, Baker, Tampa. Pensacola, Allen. Right now there's nothing you need from here at all, right? Yeah. So for right now, take that. That one probably doesn't need the route going both ways. Well, that should take people both routes, right? All right, that's fine. Forget that route. Tallahassee has grown. Yay, you go, Tallahassee. The demand for imported good beer has been reduced because it reached its maximum stock level. Oh no, they have enough beer. Alright, so with what we got going on... Oh, coal is now actually on your demands. Alright, let's fix your routes. That's convenient. So grab you. Let's edit your route. Alright, so pause. Get rid of that, do that, do that. Confirm. And we'll get it going the next soon enough. And go you, and you, and you. Mixed route, and good. So that gives Tallahassee even more of its requirements to help it grow. Alright, so I think we connect... I want to connect these. But I'm not sure how that's going to work out for us. Once again, I forgot I gotta build the train stations first. For right now, let's go ahead and put you on this side. turn you that way in case I ever need to connect you down to Miami as well. I got the achievement Poor Devil. And I don't know why. And I'm deliberately choosing to not put it on the outside lanes. Yeah, I don't see a reason why... Here, we'll actually put it there. Alright, so we've got that set up our directions as well. And we can put our trains here, so now we're going to see what happens if I do it like that. Let's see. Your train station cannot perform actions at station Lopez Rest. Because I do not have demand for that good yet. Let's see. Locomotion LLC Incorporated, new railway station. Currently 10 railway stations are connected. The railroad company recently built a new station connecting another area to the railroad network. The company directors, Venus Arauco, stated for the record that the route expansion to the railroad company continued unabated to the future. There are still many citizens and cattle that are not yet connected to the network, and they deserve nothing but the best. Nope. We are making money. And Tampa has grown. And with it, Tampa has new demands. But not cattle. Cattle is not one of those demands. So what I can try doing, let's see if we can add the meat market to this, because that would be good. This building can only be constructed within a city. Am I not in a city? Oh, no other industries may be in that city. I see. Alright, well, congratulations, Miami. You're about to become a meat production city. Because I got cattle. And I got meat. Why? Huh, well, never mind then. I don't really understand, but okay. So you have brewing. You have meat production, but you're way over there. Why is everyone in Florida brewing? I mean, it's fine. But there's a whole lot of brewing going on. Okay. Do you not know about Florida, man? Like, don't get me wrong, in real life, Jacksonville is the home of Anheuser-Busch. One of their main brewing locations is there. Tampa has a whole bunch of major brewing places in here. Miami, I don't believe, has any major brewing in it. It's more just a tourist destination, and all these other ones are not stops. Tallahassee, I've never heard of brewing coming from Tallahassee. Tallahassee's government. But Tampa and Jacksonville definitely have a strong brewing presence in them. So them being brewing, it's like, that checks out. Tallahassee, I mean, other than, like, government and financial sector stuff, I have no idea what the heck happens in Tallahassee. And, like, this is straight up tourism. But also, I don't know what these things were at this point in time. What's also fun is fun fact around this time period, Orlando would be a tiny little trade hub in the middle of the city, or in the middle of the state. That like it would seriously be a hotel. I think it was like a hotel, a church, a little like trade building or whatever. And it didn't even have like a proper railway till later. But you'd end up taking a route across, and then there's up here somewhere that'd be Walaka and Palaka, that there's a river that goes through the middle of the state, that they would take like the little ferry barge like you see like in the Oregon Trail. So your choices were, when it comes to shipping from over here in the Atlantic Ocean to anything over there like Mississippi, you'd have to either go the whole way around here in an area that's known for hurricanes, or what they'd do is they'd stop over here. I don't know the exact spot they'd stop along here. I think like St. Augustine or they'd stop here. They'd have a little wagon trail that they'd take through. They would unload the entire ship onto that. They would ferry it across Mill State, take the little ferry across the river, and then they'd take it across. Again, I don't know exactly where they'd take it. Tampa's actually a very likely candidate, if not farther north. And then they'd have a different boat pick it up and take it that way, because crossing the state by land was just much faster. And then train showed up, and then they said, forget all that. But there's actually a distillery in Pensacola? That would surprise me. I mean, there's a distillery in Titusville these days. And Titusville is like a tiny little town over here in Brevard. It's, if you've been to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center, congratulations, you've been to... Well, I mean, if you've been to Kennedy Space Center at all, congratulations, you've been to Titusville. But no one knows much of anything about Titusville. Why are you broken down? Why are you broken down? Pensacola, I believe, does have a repair station. Goes down due to milking contaminated spring water? Gotcha. I mean, they break down. There's a random chance. I was like, don't break down. I don't want that. Indian Transfer Act passed. Negotiations with the tribe commenced. The long controversial resettlement law of the Native American tribes east of the Mississippi goes into effect today. The government is now authorized to negotiate with the affected tribes about their voluntary forced resettlement. President Andrew Jackson told critics of the law the progress requires moving forward. Ah, yes, good old voluntary forced resettlement. I do like when my voluntary things are forced on me. That is definitely the way that's supposed to work. Also, historically accurate. Why are you not getting repaired? They've been voluntold. Voluntold by the military. Through, you know, government requirements. Okay. So you have a repair depot. It's right there. Or right there. Like it's attached. That's the important thing. So I don't get why that train is in such horrible disrepair. And you should have your supply building right there. Huh. Oh, you should be connected to that. So that'll probably be our next move is we'll get the cattle from here and connect up to Montgomery. And I keep being tempted. I feel like I should be connecting Jacksonville to Baker's Rest, because Jacksonville, being a brewery, is going to want the wheat for that whole thing. But it also feels like they're going through Tampa, so that's not that big a deal. They're still getting it, I assume. Are you still getting stuff? Let's check. So check here. You're not. You're actually about to run out. Versus you should be getting wheat. You are. You're importing wheat, so you're excellent. Alright, so it does look like I should be connecting Baker's Rest to Jacksonville, which also works because that'll attach Tallahassee to Jacksonville. So let's go here. We'll use the next set of rails in here, because there isn't really another stop I'd want to go over there. We'll hook it up there. Cool. All right. And then for you, we'll open up those lines. Hey, Simcopter, how's it going? Give me just a moment to finish this, because if I don't finish it before I go to do a shout out, I will forget what I am doing, and then I won't do it. All right. Oh, yeah, I forgot it's one of these games. So shout out for Simcopter1. For those who don't know, Simcopter1, absolutely fantastic content creator. Been playing some World of Warcraft in a hardcore mode, but plays a variety of games here on Twitch. So if any of that sounds good, absolutely drop by there. Very, very chill time over there. Definitely worth the hangout and all that. I'm doing good. Got a good night's sleep last night, which is way overdue. So I'm thankful for that, because that's been like a week and a half that insomnia been going real. And trying out new game. Hey, Dark Spider, how's it going? But yeah, so been having fun with that. Did our Prison Architect permadeath warden mode the other day. Finally Rita got. She died as she lived, violently. Because legendary prisoner is gonna be legendary. What? Why can't you? Are you not connected? Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. Well, crap. Well, look. The good news is I have it set so I do get refunded. So the problem is those tracks aren't connected all together. Okay, is that the right set of tracks this time? Yes, it is. So it's like, the train can't magically teleport over to the other side, silly, and it's like, you'd be right. Alright, I can just connect all these tracks now. Might as well, I don't see a reason not to. Okay, so out and back. Alright, cool. Now I can detect it. Getting hecking sleep is where it's at. That's all I gotta say. Okay. So there's the outbound. I want the return track to be that one. Cool. All rail companies are now allowed to buy shares from each other. Make sure your competitors aren't growing in value faster than your company could be bought out. Cool. My change for the quarter. I have spent $1.2 million. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That is indeed exactly what I have done. Is I said, I have money and I shall spend it all. Okay. So that connects Jacksonville to Tallahassee. It'll give Jacksonville a source of wheat so they can continue brewing. And, I mean, Tallahassee, sure, they're getting wheat. I mean, I guess Tallahassee really didn't need it. Make sure your competitors aren't growing. That's the whole thing where they're like, sabotage. I'm like, say what now? I can do what to my competition? Yeah, so right now, my stock value is higher than everyone else's. Hey. Buddy. So, so to buy all of your stock, I would need 5 million. Barty, I feel like I want a couple shares, man.
Go ahead and take it. It will increase the price of my stock.
That's fine. Could take a little bit of your company. Don't mind me. Because why are you complaining? Slowed down to missing supplies. You have a supply depot. No, you don't have a supply depot. I missed you. How much do you cost? Oh, I just gotta wait. Alright. That's been fun so far. It's also fun, like, even though this is not representative of what Florida actually looks like anywhere. What animal did I see walking over here? There was an animal walking over here. It's like, I don't know what. Even though that's definitely not what Florida looks like, it's fine. But yeah, I'm glad you got some sleep. And I hope you, I didn't catch the end of your stream because it's like way past when I crashed for the night. I hope you are still alive on your Warlock and continuing to make your way less. You were in your 30s, like level 30s, right? Just guessing by the Warlock skills, if I recall correctly. Because that's where we tossed our raid yesterday, for those who weren't here for the end of stream. And what I am gonna do, auction. I don't have that kind of money. Look, I want the fire tubes, but I can't. Still alive, 24th month. Oh, I gotcha. It's been a long time since I played vanilla. Warlock was my one of my first characters I actually put effort into and like got to level 60. It's probably one of my longest run played characters. That and Priest. I really debated jumping in on the World of Warcraft hardcore. I reinstalled Battle.net and they're like, hey, do you want a free week of World of Warcraft? And I'm like, you don't realize this, Blizzard, but as a content creator, I'll take your free week. I'll do like a week of, hardcore, and then I might not play anymore. But who knows? Maybe if you'll be super into it, I'll keep doing it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 2-second slow down time, and I'm going to grab myself a new drink. So thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in, who's been lurking, chatting, following, subscribing to the bits, hosts, donuts, and the raids. It all helps, I really do appreciate it. I do hope you're enjoying the stream, and I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I was out of hydrate, so I had to get myself some new hydrate. Yeah, the whole sabotager competition, I'm like, say what now? So apparently, the railway buildings are my biggest amount of value and all your things. Okay, I also noticed they got rid of all the connection things, so it seems like right at the beginning. Well, that's interesting. They don't have Detroit as existing at all. It's interesting what cities they're choosing. Because, like, Louisville, sure, that's capital city. Toledo, I can get behind that. Chicago, wait, Chicago's not all the way down there, is it? I thought Chicago was farther north. I mean, they're probably doing that for making things more spread out in the map. But like Grand Rapids being the one they chose, because Detroit's up here. For the record, it's like this whole area is Detroit, metro area. Grand Rapids is fine, and then there's like one or two little teeny tiny dots of people up here, like northern Michigan. You get to a point, it's just woods, and then up here is like all but non-populated. How far can I go into Canada? It looks like I can get just up into the like the southern edge of Canada, and then you go up. Yeah, this is like literally the extent of it, which that's fair. As far when you get up here, it starts getting cold enough that you don't really see a whole lot of cities that far up. Not major ones. You see cities like you saw in the Long Dark, where it's like a group of 12 houses that are all built around one thing. I know it's saying imported good space beer. But the demand for imported, good beer is the way I want to read in my head. They're like, look, man, we're not taking not good beer. Wonder when, to do this, a train station, and I have to deliver wood, wheat, and meat down there to turn Miami into a city. Interesting. That's kind of cool. So who is joining our network next? So first of all, let's check our research because I've got a bunch. We can start warehousing stuff. If we can warehouse stuff, then I could ship it over. Yeah, that's the thing. So, alright. So I've got cattle down here. And I need cattle over here. Like, I've got a source up there. Like, that's the thing that's kind of... Oh, right. I'm going to need coal down here. So then I assume, for this to work, I'd build a warehouse here and say, I would like to ship the coal. And then Tampa would be able to receive coal. And I'd put a thing down here and say, you know, I mean, they can't use coal yet. Alright, so we'll start by trying this to see what happens. I'm going to go to the stop. I'm going to say, build a warehouse. Ow. Let's see. Here, goods can change from one train to another line. Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't need to do that. I see. So if I had, let's say, for whatever reason, this is 1700s, 1800s? Yes, it's 1800s, because we're 1830. Like, I could see, like, if this spot was, like, a central thing that I needed the cattle in a lot of different places, so, like, all three of these cities I need cattle, which isn't a thing I would need, then I could put the warehouse here, have the different cities drop off their goods, and take them to the appropriate places. With that said, I think we're going to go to Montgomery as our next destination, because I can grab the cattle for Pensacola and Montgomery, and I could probably put the train station close enough here to get the corn as well. Probably hook up Tallahassee next after that, so I think that's the win. Don't tell me. You're too far apart. Okay.
Now that's what I call a real breakdown.
Okay. You should be you're not getting repairs. No, yeah, you should be getting repairs, because you're connected to Tallahassee. No, you're not. That's the problem. So I have a repair place at Pensacola and a repair place at Tampa, but not Tallahassee or Jacksonville. So what I should do, let's say Jacksonville. We'll go put over in Jacksonville. We'll put a repair depot. Okay. Because, yeah, that's fair that broke down. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to hook up the cattle here to Pensacola and Montgomery. And unfortunately, these two are too far apart for me to put one stop to serve both. Because that's what I was hoping, is I was hoping to be able to put... Like, you see, if I put this here, it'll serve both. But I can't get it close enough to handle both of them. Alright, so let's build a rail connection. Gonna choose this route here. Hey, Zidian, how's it going? I don't have a rail station up here, so I'm gonna have to build that there. Yeah, I'll put it over here on this side of town.
Another new station? What are you going to do?
What? Why are you asking me? I'm gonna hook it up. That's what I'm gonna do. Why do you cost so much? Why are you 400,000? Oh, it doesn't charge the cost of station platforms until we hook it up. Well, that sucks. So let's see. Let's make it these two. So we can build that one for now. I'm not going to be able to sit there and make it a back and forth route yet. We'll have to wait a little. Oh, I'm not. The game's not advancing time. Alright, once I get a little bit more money, I'll build this railway to get the meat to Pensacola. And then when I get a bunch more money, we'll connect the next one. Because that's the thing, it's building the railway station in Montgomery. It wants to charge a whole bunch of money for it. The railway runs the tracks are not clear, so no off turns. Yeah, that's fine. It's one train going back and forth. You're fine for now. Is this the campaign? No, I chose not to do the campaign because it looked like they were going to kind of like have itself in a narrow section again and again. So I wasn't sure about all that. Because I didn't want it to be a thing where I start doing one thing and I could do the next. Alright, so yeah, so we're stuck here because we had a breakdown blocking 3 of these 4 tracks. Do I have supply depot in this route? I do not. And I'll end up needing a supply depot on this route as well. I changed my mind, don't put it there. I believe I get a full refund. Okay. Yeah, this is not the campaign, this is the custom. Because the campaign looks like you start the game, and it gives you a little chunk up here. And then you do the next one, it gives you a chunk down here. Then you do the next one, it gives you a little part of Europe and all that. Which is fine. But I was like, you know what I actually want? I just want to make a giant sprawling empire. I want to heckin' buy out the competition. You know, create a proper monopoly, and then shut down the economy, as is historically accurate for what the end result of this time was. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Great Depression. You can thank the train companies for that. They weren't the only ones involved, but they were a major player. There were, I think it was 2 major players, like one had it was a north-south train line, the other had an east-west train line. And that they were directly competing, and the one wanted to be like, hey, let's just work together, and the other one was like, no, I won't help a competitor. The one guy went on vacation, and the competitor bought up some shares while they were gone, to just basically force enough voting power to, like, say you have to cooperate. The other guy who was on vacation panicked and started a massive, like, buyback thing, and it ended up crashing Wall Street entirely, which was, you know, the thing that took a bunch of other problems that were existing in that time frame that, you know, cascaded into what caused the Great Depression. And it's one of the many reasons monopolies are bad. There's also, you know, buying up all of the oil industry, so, or I should say power. Oil was just part of power in that regard, to, you know, corner that market. Yeah, don't forget using foreign labor and multiple human rights violations. Yup. Yup. There was a lot of not great stuff happening. Them and the Irish. Okay, out and back. Well, it's not just that. I don't want to overstate it too much, but they were one of the main triggering events. Which, for the record, is more one person. Because, like, the one person's like, hey, I have this railway network that goes this whole way. Like, you have the one that goes the other way. If we just cooperate with each other, we can both make a boatload of money. And the guy's like, no, you're a competitor. I'm not going to cooperate with you directly any more than I absolutely have to. And the one who was trying to buy shares to, like, force the issue wasn't even doing it for, like, a company takeover, even though that was the panic that the guy who was out on vacation had. It was just like, I just want enough shares that when it comes to time, I can use my shares to force you to do this. So that, like, we can both make our money. It was the person wanted a monopoly. A flat-out monopoly. No cooperation whatsoever. Just straight up, pure monopoly. And you know that because the same individual bought up a bunch of, it was the oil and coal industries for that same purpose, which is one of the main reasons why monopolies are illegal now, was that event. I shouldn't say monopolies are illegal. That they were one of the main reasons we have regulations around what you can and cannot do when you control a certain amount of market. Alright, so I won't be able to build that for a while, but that is the next length I want to set up. How's it illegal? I bought one at Monopoly? Bought one what? Oh, Monopoly, the board game. You know what we're talking about when one company controls, like, effectively controls an industry. Be that? I forgot that it paused the way I started building this.
We both know nothing about trains, but I have people for that.
Oh. That's, my competition that's being snarky with that. Yeah, well, other people, let's see how you're doing, because I already have 6 cities connected, and you're working on your happy little 4 down here. Look at you with your cute little wannabe train setup. That is interesting. Alright, moving on. And look at you, with your 4 stops. Isn't that cute? You got your little city over here. You got some wheat, you got some wood. Yep, I see you trying. And up here, all the way in Washington. You just have the straight shot that goes up and down, north-south. Well, I guess you have one big offshoot for lumber. That's fine. The southeast is mine. And the east coast, because I'm going to be able to take all this before any of you get anywhere nearby. Oh, they actually include a lot of Mexico and Canada in this. Okay. Hey, Alpin. Yes, isn't that what Monopoly is all about? Owning everything? Yes. Well, and it's funny, because if you actually look at, like, the history around Monopoly, it was supposed to point out, like, how bad monopolies are, and people just kind of miss the message. What is bad? You always have a family fight. See, the big problem with Monopoly is if you actually follow the legitimate rules, the game is only supposed to take like 30 to 45 minutes. But every family kind of creates their own house rules, all of which extend the game. Because the whole point is that someone is supposed to get a little bit of a lead and then just bulldoze the other person, like, out of existence really fast. So it's kind of getting yourself ramped up. But yeah, it's all the people who do stuff like, well, if you hit free parking, you get all the money out of the middle of the table and all these other things, that they add those kind of rules in. Because the entire thing with the game is it's supposed to constantly be like bleeding money out of the the players. That there is no recovering. It's just kind of burning the other one down first. Because you get like your $200 for passing go, which does absolutely nothing once anything is set up at all. You get like these occasional things that you get from like, oh, you got $75 for your grandma. Yay! Because it also gets the thing, again, you get yourself a decent monopoly, and then you hit someone else's tile and they can't pay for it, and then you force them to mortgage their property, thus farther weakening them. But yeah, the idea is it's supposed to go relatively quick. Yeah, so building the second track only cost 64,000. That's because there's like 250,000 tied up in making this this rail station. Because it was interesting, I was reading a whole thing about all of that, and they're like, oh yeah, like this just hands down. What, weren't you corn before? Oh. But yeah, it just simulates what happens. People in charge step in and put in rules and regulations to control, stop the unfairness. Which is kind of funny. Well, that's the thing. Like, the people making their own rules is a byproduct of people not liking the way the game is lost. Like, you almost can't find people who follow it by the rules, because, one, the rule book takes a little bit to get through, but it just doesn't feel good, which is the point. It's not supposed to feel good that someone, like, gets their start and then just snowballs you the rest of the game. But it's supposed to be fast. They're fighting to try and get that first monopoly in place. One of your rules is to create your own rules too, though. Oh, I didn't see that. I hadn't heard that one. I wonder if that was with the original rule set or that was added in as everyone kind of made their own rules over time. Because they're like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, I don't have a strong care one way or the other. Monopoly was never a game I was super into. Okay. Well, that's a problem. This man says he hates Monopoly. Doing it wrong, it's not a game like, yes, Monopoly. It's all I've ever wanted. Alright, so we're gonna create one train route. That does that. I can't afford the auction, so I'm just out. I'll get back to doing my train things, thank you. Alright. And I want to add a stop there. Cool. Okay. So it's time to get the John Bull mixed one.
It's not a locomotive. It's a piece of junk on wheels.
Why are you that way? Express line is in danger as faster locomotives are available. So can I, like, in place upgrade these things? Say, this train here, just replace it. Edit railway. Edit.
A record? Either tailwind or false measurement. Probably both.
The Locomotive Railway Company, Locomotion LC, has achieved a new record speed yesterday. In the process, the train was traveling on a main line. The breakthrough record toasted with beer and whiskey afterwards. We can be curious the next record will be achieved, but it is slowly becoming questionable how fast such a locomotive can still become, where progress will take us one day. Locomotion Inc. imports John Bull model kit from the Real Railways worker. A new locomotive thunders through the vastness of America. The John Bull was built by the English workshop and well-known locomotive builder Robert Stephenson and was shipped across the Atlantic. Since it was assembled in Bordenton, the John Bull has been in daily use with great success. The design is a horizontal boiler, which has already been tried and tested by English locomotives. Is in many respects superior to machines of the vertical boilers previously used, and therefore certainly future oriented. Alright, so now I need to just go through my routes. Okay. Let's get all our trains up to snuff. I see. I understand.
My favorites are the ones that break down themselves.
Stop talking to me. What do you need that's making you unhappy? Everything. You need everything. That's fair. Okay. Slow down time, actually. No, don't copy that. So the question is, what do I do with all the grasshoppers? I might just like... One would assume I would decommission them. Okay. And Pensacola has a maintenance station. I think a promising thing is to go to undeveloped countries, set up railways, and rake in all the government money in progress company monopoly. So, I mean, you get money for, in real life, you get money for hooking up the railways, but it's not even, like, undeveloped. Like, even in developed nations, you still have to do that. Like, in this particular case, we're in the infancy of railways in the U.S., Alright, so you probably need corn here. Alright, you don't have a source of corn here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect Montgomery over to Tallahassee. That should work out pretty okay for us. Alright. Of course, that's 300,000 I gotta wait for. And Jacksonville's struggling right now. Tallahassee and Tampa are doing pretty well. Speed things back up. Foundations, improved anchoring foundations, so reduce the cost of building bridges. Reduce the cost charged for personnel of well-being employees. Alright, so we're doing pretty good from the looks of it. Our construction's slowing down a bit because money. Alright, so we have a new objective we can, we have assigned to us that is basically to buy up a bunch of a competitor's stock. Right now, I just want to keep expanding our network, because that's where I'm going to probably make the most money. Alright. It's amazing how powerful trains were until planes took a piece. Even now, it's still powerful. Oh yeah, we're talking freight though. Like these days, the primary carriers of freight is still boats, just because of the size. But trains are absolutely a workhorse. That's just because you can't. I can't build a train across the Atlantic Ocean particularly easily. Well, that's a problem. So let's go ahead and get a refund on that.
Ha! I don't even have to do it myself.
So... What? Why would you want to go that way? There we go. Let's see, there's still Bering Sea, but this isn't politically theoretically. But yeah, but that still doesn't help with the trying to get to Europe, which would be more the comment of the Atlantic Ocean. Like, we could certainly do that. Alright, so that's a totally separate route down here. No, I understand. But that's kind of going the really long way around the world. Alright. Stop pausing the game. Alright. Which still isn't going around the Atlantic? It is. But that's the reason why boats and planes, right? Usually use planes for things you need to be delivered quickly, and then you use boats for stuff that you really don't care how quick it's getting delivered. That's like more just bulk. Because the fun thing when it comes to like mathematics around travel is like making a plane bigger and bigger and bigger is very difficult. But boats, like, it's the port that's the limiting thing. You can make this absolute monstrosity of a boat. The physics still works out pretty simple about surface area and all that. And boats are weird in the sense that the bigger the boat, the easier it is to make it go faster in a lot of ways. Like, that's the reasons why often cruise ships will outrun a lot of other boats if it comes down to an actual problem. It's just the sheer amount of space you have. You can just keep adding more and more propellers onto it to give it more go. Which I always found fascinating. Because, like, there was a thing, and this is going back, like, 10, 15 years, that pirates had attacked a cruise ship, and the cruise ship just went, nope, and just sped away. And the first time I'd heard that story, I'm like, you know, your brain's just like, what? What? How? And then you start hearing about, like, the physics between boats and all, and you're like, oh, so, like, some little speedboat racing up to a cruise ship, the cruise ship, when it gets moving, will actually just leave it behind. Okay, sure. Yeah, it's more you can just put so many more engines on the back of the boat, and it just, you know, there is limitations with the physics and all that, of course. But it's just really weird on how it works with boats. And I don't need to have that be the 4, because they're not going to the same places. Big boats allow for more things they can propel. Yeah. Okay, so we connect you, and you. And we will set up a John Bull there. And then when we have the money, we have to go the other way. I am noticing the price in the John Bulls seems to be going up with each one I buy. And we didn't turn on, there's a mechanic that's like where you can turn on like inflation or whatever like that over time. And we don't actually have that turned on. But I think it is because we're buying up the supply that there's a supply and demand mechanic. Oh good, we're exporting large amounts of beer to Montgomery. We know what they want in Montgomery. Bonus for new industry. But I already have a brewing. I can't. Earlier when I went to build what it was like, you can't. Oh, that's what the plus is trying to tell me, is I am allowed to locate another thing here. Oh, right. I need to, before we get too far into this, build up here a supply depot on this route and on this route. Alright, so they want me to be able to build a new industry. So we have sugar nearby, we have grain, we have meat, we have corn, and we have lumber. So it's looking like probably it's going to be the meat, honestly. Because it could make the sawmill, but I think the meat will be good down here as well. Why aren't you letting me place this? Oh, money. Well, we'll just keep going to that, I guess. Because that'll give me the cattle for here, which will let me supply meat, which then is something that Miami needs, so I'll get meat down there. Jacksonville needs, and Tallahassee needs. Now, granted, Tallahassee has meat choices from everywhere, but right now, Miami has no supply at all, and Jacksonville has to already go through a route, so I'll have a direct route to it. I mean, that should be fine. All right. What's interesting is the other ones don't seem to be spreading nearly as fast as I am. Yellow just got their 5th spot. I'm on 6, and the other two are on 4. All right. Just a little more. The interesting thing is, so we do get paid for shipping goods, so it's kind of, you almost want to go out of your way to be like, I'm producing these in different locations.
My favorites are the ones that break down themselves.
I am going to murder that man. I don't think that's a mechanic, but I could make it one. And Jacksonville is missing out on a lot of stuff they need. But that should fix, because now Tampa's going to be making meat to give to Jacksonville. And you're good for another business. Alright, do you not have maintenance department? You're going to Pensacola, right? Pensacola, I have maintenance. Yeah, I got maintenance here. Stop bringing down, okay. Yeah, now start delivering meat over to Miami. And honestly, I could connect this route to grab the copper, but the big issue I have is the nearest wood is up here. Now, my assumption is this wood would get brought down to Tampa, and then they would be able to relay that wood down to Miami. But maybe that's not how things work. Oh, heck yeah. 17,000 for that delivery? Yes, please, more. Alright, and you got corn, veggies, coal, and wheat. You can also get the apples here. Because we can go through and get the apples, like, go up to Augusta. Now, if I were to build another industry in one of these places, we have meat up here. There's no yarn that I've seen anywhere nearby. We could take the lumber. That actually is not a bad idea. They don't have anyone doing anything with lumber. Granted, you have coal, and you can probably get clay. Let's just do the lumber thing. And the population is going up again. Okay, and you can't have another place yet. You can't have another place yet. And you're struggling just to function as a city, Jacksonville. Alright. Let's check our research. Let's reduce some costs. Excellent. Yeah, so we got people going to Montgomery and Tallahassee. We have people going directly. So yeah, so I think the next connections to consider is it feels like Augusta should be kind of a hub because we got a whole bunch of cities over here. That actually makes a lot of sense to make Augusta a hub, because then I can pick up all these goods going all the different directions. And we can, like, really bring up Augusta. Trying to function as a city? Jack still has this problem. Yeah. The problem Tallahassee's having right now is it can't export its beer fast enough. Like, there's just not enough places that want it because everything down here is making beer. Alright. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna make Augusta a trade hub. Just lobby for prohibition and sell it to bootleggers. Okay, so we can have Jacksonville connect over here to Charleston. That picks up those two. Tallahassee can connect to Augusta and pick up those two. Probably don't bother having Montgomery pick up. We'll probably have Montgomery go to Atlanta and pick stuff up. Yeah. Boardwalk Empire was a great show.
Let's face it, we both know nothing about trains, but I have people for that.
Look, man. Tallahassee, get bigger. Alright, where's your stock? Show up over here. Standard 5%.
Your fun. Now let it go.
No, I'm buying 10% of your company. You just keep doing it till you stop existing. Alright. Yeah, so Tallahassee's doing pretty good. The good news is the next requirement that's going to be added when we hit 55,000 people is what Tallahassee is producing. I already have that tech, I believe. You're literally... No, you're not. Look, I have that tech now, so deal with it. Offer. Grain farm in Tampa. The family Cooper would like to make an offer. Since the family is currently in a difficult situation, the family is looking for a buyer. The price is $120,000. There will be no auction. Yup. I now own the Cooper farm. I could return the Cooper farm and be like, you know what? I don't want it. Take it back. I can start buying up all the property around here as well. I believe by buying the farm, if I remember correctly, now I don't have to spend money. Like, I don't have to spend money on the materials here, like that. I'm not Snowden. Every time that comes up, and it's very rare, it's like you bring up the pictures, it's like the facial structure isn't the same. The only thing the same is glasses, facial hair, brown hair. But I'm enjoying the game. What is that symbol? What is your symbol? Alright, you should be getting maintenance. Just when Mr. Smoke was saying. Alright, let's remains depot there. Dude, I was born back then. If I didn't get wiped out due to polio or TB, very mean businessman to the competition. Yeah. Unfortunately, where this was growing, it did dip below because that train was blocking the way. But I keep expecting this to do well. And why aren't you getting meat at any meaningful speed?
I just had lunch with the mayor to discuss your series of breakdowns.
I am going to kill that man. Because I need to wait till I have like 400,000. I'm going to move on to building my next train station up here. Probably Charleston. Like I said, it's probably going to be Charleston. I'm probably going to go this route. Well, I don't really need the wheat over here. Because you should have wheat, right? Yeah, you have wheat, so you don't really need the wheat. I doubt I can put a train station in between these. Like, yeah, they can't reach both of those. One thing I ought to do is I ought to connect Miami up this way. Meanwhile, we can grab the train that's on this route. Oh. That's the problem. So edit the route. Add that. And that. And then add a new route from here to there. To there. To there. Alright. That should help Tampa out, because that brings us meat. And that should help Miami out, because that brings it its wheat. And that means all we're missing from here is a source of wood. And that might just be I take... Can I... Oh, I literally can't get that far. Can I... Does that mean I can go this way? No. So literally I can't go that far. Because what to say, Miami, go get your wood. So I'm gonna have to try and like I'm assuming they'll eventually get its way down here, that like as this place starts stocking up on wood. Issues with production? Oh, it's saying this has issue with production. Alright. They don't need to build supply buildings or stop water faster. Oh, I need to do that. I should have one along this route, I believe. Yeah, so I have a supply spot right there. I got one over there. Yep, so this route has a supply stop. This route has a supply stop. This route has one. That route has one. This one has one. You have one.
I'm laughing my head off. Left to your own devices, you'll tear yourself apart.
Yeah, the maintenance thing is what's bothering me, because like this place has a maintenance thing, yet hey, the follow, welcome to stream. Yet I'm having a bunch of trains that like their main. Oh, this is probably that train that broke down going over here because the maintenance was missing there previously. All right. So for Tallahassee to grow, what is Tallahassee missing right now? They're missing corn, which comes from here, and that's because that train broke down. They've got wood, which comes from here, which they're set up to get that. They've got their meat. Their beer production has issues. Same reason as before, because the trains are breaking down. Why? So you're in terrible repair. So you have what route are you on? So you're on this route that goes over this way. You have a repair. So I'm going to just add one to Tallahassee, because we're having a lot of trains break down. Even though I've got maintenance depots along the route, so I don't know what that's about. Let's get more people repairing. Okay, and Tampa's starting to grow again. That's good. Alright, so we could connect Tallahassee. So we can kind of snake it through here. So that way I can pick up the apples, the clay, and to get Augusta. But we're going to do it in like sections, because I'm not going to be able to afford to do the whole thing at once. So let's go here. Take one of these ones, that way I've got room to expand later. I have to wait a little while for that to have money. Maybe trains got old and need new trains? Is there a mechanic like that in this game? I don't think so. Like, they do get wear and tear. Oh, I need to unpause. They do get wear and tear, but that's what the maintenance depot is it does the repairs. Alright, please give me money and stop doing what you're doing right now, game. Why is the money going down rapidly, game? It should be going up. There you go. Alright. So we're continuing to expand and grow that. Okay, I don't know what the house icon on meat means. Oh, that might mean it's being stored here. Or it's being produced. Well, no, it's not produced because we also have beer. Oh, I am producing it here. That's what it's probably talking about. Yeah, because it's all the stuff I've built. Alright, we'll have a train that goes from Tallahassee to there. Have to wait till I have 46,000. Alright, unless it's just like, yo, nah, it's okay. So it'll require me to get a new one. Alright, that's what I was curious. When I retired all my crappier locomotives. Eunuch saying, why is the money rapidly going down? Is something I ask myself all the time. Yup. Okay, so that'll bring us in apples, which will be another one of the needs met for here. Alright, I might end up needing just having more trains on this, because we're just not getting the... Well, I mean, the beer is almost maxed out, so we don't need to worry about that. The planks are, but right now that's because no one really needs planks. Tallahassee needs planks soon.
My favorites are the ones that break down themselves.
I can't wait to buy him out so he stops speaking forever. Alright. Yeah, so you got cattle on the way. So I think what I need to end up doing is I'm probably going to need to put another train going towards Tampa. Like, it almost seems like the issue right now is strictly I don't have enough let's see if I can't go here. So average revenue per train per month from going from Tampa here. Oh, interesting. Locomotion Inc. outstrips the competition. The well-known railroad company continues the success story unabated. Venus Orozco has proven that they know exactly which routes are lucrative, have continuously driven the expansion of their network, and includes constantly developing the company, recruiting good personnel, and responding to increased demand of the new rail lines. Cool. They're like, you're making your money. Yes, I am. So the question here would be, if I go into the city and we look at... So that starts a bid. But I'm thinking my issue right now is that I have our train routes and those are fine, but that I need more trains on certain routes. Because like this one, when I pop over here, the beer keeps shutting down. Well, the beer's shutting down because it's full, that's right. That's not going to help there, and you're making beer over here. What do you need to grow? You need... Alright, so you need to send more meat over here. How is your meat stock? It's fine. The question is for trying to get like meat from here to Jacksonville, for example, is the thing I'm curious about, because you're getting no meat over here at all. That's what I'm not understanding is the kind of hopscotch of stuff. Now you can build the warehouse, we could probably make that happen. Okay, so let's try this. So if we go to the warehouse, I would like it to carry meat to bring it across. We'll say apples to carry it across. Coal to carry it across. We'll go ahead and add the wheat and the corn on there. And the lumber. So my hope is that will make it available so that now this is like a trade depot that'll cover all of these ones for all the things that are being supplied to it. And that we could do the same for Tampa. That's my theory, at least. I don't know if it's going to actually work out that way. Alright, so wheat, corn, I'll add lumber, meat. Beer is something they sell, so they don't need it. Sugar. Do I have anything locally I would probably want to pass on farther? I'll say coal even though I don't think they'll actually matter. Okay. So a theory that should result in them getting that stuff passed through, because now now Tampa can pick up the wood from here, store it, and then pass it on to Miami. It also should mean that this location should start getting some of these supplies as well. What I don't understand is why we're not getting the wood. Because you have a route that goes to Jacksonville. What trains take this route? They got Jacksonville to Tallahassee and Tallahassee to Jacksonville. And you stop at Baker's Rest, which has all these supplies. Alright, let's try and catch whatever trains that's going from Baker's Rest to Tallahassee and try and figure out why Tallahassee isn't getting, or sorry, not Tallahassee, Jacksonville isn't getting its supplies. Because it should be getting meat, wood, this, and I think sugar. And it's not, and I don't really know why. Because the lumber's the one I'm most curious about, why they're not getting their, well no, actually they have lumber. Never mind, it's sorting itself out, I don't know. Okay. Speedometer. Effectively, efficiency of driving operation can be increased continuously, measuring current speed. The train gets a little faster. Now, how are you doing? Why are you not getting meat still? Is it just because... Let's try and catch the train leaving this route, going... So you're full of wheat. So I think as well as ones... Which train are you? So it's a Tampa to Miami. So let's go to this route and add a second train. And see what happens with that. Because it might just be the trains, there's not enough throughput. So where they keep restocking the grain to keep the citizens fed and then the beer production going, that they don't have enough room to get the cattle through. Tallahassee has grown and is actively growing again. Demand for import beer is maxed out. That has been maxed out. The warehouse allow goods to move from one line to another to reach more destinations. To do this, the warehouse must be picked up in both train lines and goods must be activated in the warehouse. Yes, I believe we have. Gotcha. So the problem I have here is like literally the Jacksonville-Tallahassee line is just nothing but people. All right, so we can work with that. The Jacksonville-Tallahassee line is maxed out. Let's go edit this route. And we'll add a second train. Confirm. Yeah, Tampa to Miami 1 is solid. The Miami... Okay, Jacksonville is finally growing. And we just expanded the Jacksonville-Tallahassee line. We're not going to mess with that again yet. So you don't have a full train. That's basically what I'm going to try and do is spot if I have like a full train. Okay. So Pensacola to Montgomery is a full train. So I'll add a second train on that route. You're an absolutely full train. Tallahassee to Montgomery. So we'll make you have a second one on your route. Be the one that brings back the gladiatorium. Wrong game. Tallahassee is growing fast. The next good they want is liquor. Well, no, we also got Georgia. I'm not sure exactly where the flip from Georgia and all that flips over. Not just Florida. Don't know, honestly.
I'm laughing my head off. Left to your own devices, you'll tear yourself apart.
What are you talking about, man? I am slaughtering you financially. Alright, did I do which route? So I did third rail. And the reason I'm leaving a gap on the side there is I'm trying to deliberately make sure I have space for if we go over there. Alright. Mania? Gotcha. Oh, it got banned from Steam? That's concerning. Yeah, so it says I'm warehousing all of these goods. Dinner? Yeah, I need to get with Tomb. We're probably just doing leftover pizza. I think that's what we had planned to do, and it's just a matter of like actually doing it. But thank you for making sure I have a reminder on it. Alright, so out, in. Alright, so we'll take our currently 16 railways connected. The railway company has recently built a new station connecting another area to the railway network. Company director Venus Orozco stated on the record that the route expansion of the railway company continues unabated in the future. They're still, yeah, so that's a repeat thing. Locomotion increases track length. Company director Venus Orozco told the newspaper that while they are pleased to have set themselves apart from the competition, they're far from... Yeah, so that's a repeat. A distant but wealthy aunt has unfortunately passed and bequeathed 39 transport stocks. The stocks of this type portray a specific sector of the economy and will appreciate if the economic data sees a bigger improvement than projected. Cool. The grain farm at New Orleans. I can
Nobody wanted this junk but you.
I don't care. I bought it anyway. I don't know if it's something I actually wanted, but it's not yours, and that's all I care about. Let's see, pizza's the only food that's tasty at any temperature. There's a few things that fall into that. There's some stews and soups that can be good cold. There's definitely some that can't. Alright, so I forgot the supply depot on this line. That's fine, we got it sorted. Alright, so the thing I need to do here is grab you, edit your route, because it now includes that and that. Confirm. And I know it's like, but I can't get stuff right now. It's like, look, man, you're going to be able to, so stop your whining. Alright, and faster cornering. And I believe you already have a repair station. Yes, you do. And Tallahassee continues to grow. Tampa's struggling a little bit. Are you getting your supplies you need to actually be built? You're literally just waiting on wood. Alright, so you're getting a full load from there. So let's edit your route and add a second train. So where is this property I built? Oh, it's over here. That's fine. We'll connect Pensacola to New Orleans as our next one. If the game just wanted to be like... For me, it was just... Well, I can't afford it, so that's fine. Don't I already have that research? No, I don't. That's fine. I don't care. Old Ironsides, a success. Baldwin tests locomotive. The Old Ironsides locomotive successfully tested in Philadelphia. The impressive machine was built by Baldwin Locomotive Works, and it certainly marks the beginning of a long, successful American building tradition. If we want to open up our continent with fire and steam in the future, we must finally achieve independence from European locomotive manufacturers. Baldwin now has taken the first successful step.
I'm laughing my head off. Left to your own devices, you'll tear yourself apart.
Stop. I'm going to buy more of your stock. How do you feel about that, buddy? I'm going to buy more of your stock. I'm going to get to the point that I'm going to own more of your company than you are. Ooh, double up arrows. Elon Musk, that man. So you're saying buy the company and then just immediately destroy the company, as in destroy your entire investment? Like, don't incorporate into your products, just straight up destroy your company? Get it? What was it? The 5th place on the most hated companies list in the US? That was this past week. Have its revenue drop by over 70-80% because all the ad people dropped out because they're like, we don't want our brands associated with this. Ooh, you're gonna give me a heck of a lot of money if I connect that up. I guess I connect you to Montgomery then. No, I'll probably connect that to Atlanta. All right, that's gonna be a little while because that's couple 100,000. All right, well, bear with me, chat. I'm gonna take 2 seconds to stretch my legs and all that stuff, and I'll be back here in just a minute. So thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in, has been lurking, chatting, following, subscribing, doing the brain. Why is brain shut down? Roll.exe is broken. Let's see. Thank you so much for your follows, your lurking, your chatting, subscribing, doing the bits, the donuts, and the raids. It all helps. I really do appreciate it. I do hope you're enjoying the stream, and I'll be back here in just a minute. All right, let's see. My odds projection is now that MSM going out, people are looking for more options to broadcast. They're making it free accessible hubs and news with internal fact checking. Yeah, the problem you're running into though with stuff like that on Twitter right now is with Twitter Blue. It kind of lets you supersede a lot of stuff because you're getting you're getting preferential treatment by the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. Like it's become a point I've lamented about it a couple times on the channel, that I will go to do something on Twitter, and very genuinely what'll end up happening is you'll say like one thing, I'll mention something about accessibility, like it'd be like, oh, I like the way the colorblind mode in this game functions. And I'll get like a bunch of Twitter Blue responses, or a bunch of people are being like ableist jerks about it. And then you'll find like all the meaningful comments below it. And it's made it almost impossible to use the platform. Because like everyone who gives like a horrible take, it's just I've mentioned, I've gotten to the point I have debated installing an extension to hide literally every single person who uses Twitter Blue. It's gotten that bad. And they're like, oh, it's going to solve it for bots. And the bots are the ones getting Twitter Blue half the time. So it's very much not a good resource, in my opinion. I do like the idea of having fact-checking and everything, which is good. But it's not... Like, that piece is good, but there's a lot of broken pieces around it, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I absolutely disagree with that entirely. Secret. But that's fine. Anyway, so what's going to happen here in just a minute is I'm going to go ahead and do my little 5-minute break that I do in the middle of stream. So if you bear with me, I'm going to pause the game real fast. And I'm going to stop my recording.